Kevin Hester, you are ridiculous.
The Bears are who we thought they were. And that's why we took the damn field. Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass. But they are who we thought they were. And we let them off the hook.
Shut up. See that? That's your IQ, buddy. 0.
Hungry Chicago, finally champions on this January day in New Orleans.
This is the Barely Qualified Podcast with your hosts, Nick Labris, Jason Maxwell, and Drew Bailey.
Welcome, everyone, back to another episode of Barely Qualified. My name is Drew Bailey. With me, as always, are Jason Maxwell and Nick Labris. Boys, when you think they're dead, when you think there's no hope, when you want to go to bed and not even watch the second half, the 2025-2026 Chicago Bears know just what to do, and that's win the fucking game. This isn't just a flash-in-the-pan team anymore. Major stigmas and hurdles have been passed, and any obstacle that faces this team, no one can count them out of. Of course, those words are all because of the 31-27 wildcard round win against our bitter rival, the Green Bay Packers. Tonight, we're going to talk about that game, probably for a while. Talk about the rest of the pretty spectacular wildcard round, although the last two games are kind of deflating the tires a little bit. And then we're going to finish it out with another fantastic podium list for you all. But before we do that, we're going to go a second go around for this ad read. But I loved it so much. Got to do it again for Jay here. I want to tell you guys all about our friends over at Fat Guy Sandwich Shop in Lisle. The shop just opened up a couple of months ago right on Main Street, downtown Lisle. They've been incredibly popular since they opened their doors. You got to try Jay's personal favorite, the Italian, as always, the capicola, mortadella, salami, provolone, mayo, lettuce, tomato, on a nice hoagie roll. If you've ever been to Fontano's in Hinsdale, this is the same sort of tier. Fat Guys also serve soups, salads, and paninis. Roast beef panini is killer. They have a nice little secret sauce that's a kind of chipotle aioli. Very, very good, and the owners are very good people. So check them out. It's awesome. Fat Guy Sandwich Shop, Main Street in Lisle. You'll love them, and tell them that the BQ boys sent you. So, without further ado, I think we're going to talk about the best probably game of our lives as Bears fans. And I'm going to kick it over to Nick to break that down and talk a little bit about it.
Yeah. Thanks, Drew. And can I just say it kind of rocks that it feels like every week we're talking about the best Bears game of our lives. Like, it's pretty sweet that it's happened like 3 times this year. So yeah, let's dive into it, because I think, like a lot of our listeners, like both of you, we were talking back and forth. There was it was an emotional night. Emotion. It was a lot. Like, and I don't say emotional just as, obviously there were tears shed at the end of the game and everything, and the excitement. There was some anger. There was some confusion. It was a lot of emotions, kind of the whole spectrum of emotions on Saturday night, at least in my house. So before we dive into this game, this thrilling 31-27 come from behind victory over the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs, before we dive into it, I wanted to go around and just talk through what it meant to us. Talk about where you were watching, who you were watching with, all the things we were feeling. I genuinely believe this is going to be one of those, like, you're going to remember it for the rest of your lives moment games. So I just want to kind of go around and just get the lay of the land for you guys. Jay, I'm going to kick it to you. I know you were at your parents' house. So, like, what was the atmosphere like at the parents' house? How was everything going over there?
It was great. So we left the kids with a sitter and Ubered over to my parents, had our little chili cook-off, which was fantastic. Dry January was put on pause for the Bears game. So we were imbibing a bit to a lot. However you made
it 9 days. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I was going to say, pat myself on the back. Longest I've done it in about 20 years. So I'll take it.
Yeah.
And the energy was super high. Energy was super high, right? We got there kind of early, so we watched the wrap up of the Rams Panthers game, which was an awesome finish. All these games have been fantastic. And so then we kind of strapped in and started watching the Bears game, and it was just, we literally started playing a board game at halftime.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Like we did that, and we didn't have kids. It was just adults playing a board game, trying to get our mind out of the gutter. Because it was, I don't want to say low vibes because we were actually having a blast regardless, but it was lower vibes than it should have been, all things considered. Because going into halftime down 21-3, basically wrote the game off. Margaret, my wife, midway through the third quarter was like, "Yep, gonna take a snooze." Literally just kind of fell asleep on the couch. Fair enough. No kids, might as well. Snooze fest of a game. We're getting mushed. And then we started coming back. And I'm telling you, me and my dad, my mom was going wild. And we had a fun little thing too, because my mom noticed that Margaret fell asleep on the couch. So she's like, I'm gonna get a blanket. So she got a blanket. This was midway through like the third quarter, I want to say. Got a blanket from when the Bears went to the Super Bowl 85-86. Right. And so they've had that blanket for a very long time. And my mom's like, maybe this will be the good luck blanket. And shortly after that, the tides really did turn. So as soon as the Bears started scoring and compiling the points, it was superstitiously funny thing where Margaret couldn't leave the couch and couldn't take the blanket off. And then lo and behold, they kept on coming back. But we were going absolutely nuts. I don't even know how to. It truly was like a blur. It truly was like a blur. Me and my dad, my mom, my fam, all just hugging and jumping around, yelling, screaming, taking a lap around, the driveway in the neighborhood a little bit, just screaming. It was like the Super Bowl. It really was. It meant a lot to. I mean, my dad was crying, my mom was crying, I was crying. It was super fun. So great moment. I truly, I don't know if I would have wanted to be anywhere else. I know it was kind of a low key. My other siblings ended up not showing up, so it's just me, Margaret, and my parents. But it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's the good stuff, man. So I'm glad you had a good time. I'm glad things worked out. It sounds like a good night over there. Drew, what were you? I assume you were probably just hanging out at the house with the baby, or were you guys anywhere else?
No, it was definitely at the house. And by the way, Jay, that's awesome. I love that. Because that's something that 100% is going to just, it's imprinted. It's an imprinted memory in your brain with your parents, with your wife. We're actually trying a new thing. We tried something new this weekend with Nathan we're gonna try getting him to bed a little bit earlier. And Jenny has been so gracious enough to put him to bed at around 7 o'clock, 7:15. Took him a little bit longer on Saturday, to which I watched the first half alone by myself with the dogs. And she came down and I immediately looked at her and said, "It's 21-3. You might want to go to bed." She said, "Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna stick up. I'm gonna watch a little bit." And then the Bears started doing what they started doing, and I said, "You're not going to bed. You will not be going to bed. You will be sitting here and watching this entire and making sure you stay with me here, because this is now as you so graciously put a reach out to everybody." As superstitious, I said, "Jenny, you will not be going to bed. You are watching the rest of this game." And through all of her yawns and us getting the dogs down and everything, she stayed up and she saw me weep into a pillow at the end of there. And it is so much like, I think that resonated a little bit with her because she's never been a huge Bears fan or football watcher, because she has been all about looking at the social medias and what Ben Johnson is doing, his good, better, best speech, the Ben Johnson handshake with Matt LaFleur. She's asking about the Packers now and all of their stuff. So like, that was a truly a game-changing moment for our relationship, and her like kind of investing a little bit into the Chicago Bears. So that was amazing. It was amazing to see. And even when we thought they were down with the Matthew Golden score and all of that, and we'll go into it, she was like, you know what? They're going to come back. They're going to win it. They've done it all season. And she stayed a pillar of positivity for me. So it was amazing. It was just perfect. What I needed.
Yeah, that rocks. That's awesome. And yeah, I'm glad. So you guys both kind of obviously, Drew, Jay, you brought up your blanket or your mom's blanket. Drew, you're talking about your wife, like can't leave your side. That's the kind of stuff I was looking for, because I think collectively in Chicago, like every single person like changed their clothes or went to a different floor on the house or whatever the case was. I know that. So I watched it at my house with my kids and my wife for the first half and then put the kids to bed, but more on that later. At halftime, I was just sitting there. I had my Bears jersey, my nice Bears jersey that was, you guys got me as a winning of some competition we did last season. I was wearing that. I had my Bears hat on. And at halftime, I just took off the jersey, took off the hat, threw it on the ground. Like, all right, this outfit is not doing it today. So we need to try and change it up. And after the game, my mom called me, my mom is like being up at like 11:30 is wild, and her calling me about sports is crazy. So she called me and she said, yeah, I was watching with your dad in the first half, but things weren't going good. So I moved to the main floor and he stayed in the basement, and then they started winning. So we like couldn't watch it together. And it's just like, it's just such a fun thing that I just feel like all sports fans have that weird thing where it's like, well, this isn't working. We got to change it up a little bit. So I love hearing people's like individual contributions to a Bears win for sure. But yeah, I'm watching the game at home, going very poorly. And at halftime, it's kind of like Jay, I wasn't playing a board game. I started playing like games on my phone. Like I wasn't scrolling Twitter. I wasn't on Instagram. I was like playing games on my phone. Just like half paying attention.
A little, yeah.
I got a couple of those like dumb like games you see on ads all the time and stuff like that. So I'm playing these games. I'm kind of half watching the game, and the Bears just keep kind of, keeping it close. Keep like the Packers aren't scoring any more points. They're putting up points here and there. So I just keep doing it. Anyway, we get to the point we put the kids to bed kind of late for them. They usually go to bed between 8 and 8:30. I'd say we got them to bed around 9:15. It was just it was a weird night. And I could hear my oldest was still kind of rustling around because his bedroom is right above my family room. So I could hear him walking around on his floor. And this is right as the Bears were right as they were driving down. They were down by 3, and they're driving down to possibly take the lead. So, and he's been really into football this season. This is his first year really caring about sports, and he's like super into it. I'm like, you know what, Jack, come on down here, watch this game with me, finish this game out. He was wide awake. Like he wasn't going to sleep anyway. So I brought him down, and like literally the first play he came down was the DJ Moore touchdown. And he was going nuts. He was happy. And he watched the rest of the game with me, and he was like, yeah, he was going crazy. And I didn't hear this because Kate put him to bed after, because I was just like stupefied. I was just like sitting on the couch, just like, what the fuck just happened? And Kate told me that as she was putting to bed, my son told her that he was going to tell his grandkids someday about this moment, about like watching the game late with dad. I was like, oh my God. Like I was like bawling my eyes out. Dude.
I was going to say, it
was a lot. But it was awesome. Like, I love that. I'm glad that, me personally, I remember I was a little bit older, not that much actually, now that I think about it. I was, in the first real sports memory I have is like the 93 Bulls championship when Paxton hit that 3.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really remember watching it so much, but I remember jumping up and down. I remember my neighbors were going absolutely crazy. And like, that's like one of my first sports memories. And I'm hoping that like, that's something that, my son is talking about 30, 40 years from now as well. So that was like where I was. And that's kind of like what was going on in my house. It was really cool. Just an awesome, awesome night. Could have started off so bad and it ended up being just the best night ever. And then I just watched highlights, and oh God, the amount of Packers fans like that were just so cocky before the game. I watched so many clips of Packers fans, like halftime updates and stuff like that. It was the best. I just was watching every second of it. So it was awesome.
That's reminded. I'm just imagining. Have you guys seen oh my God, what's the Leonardo DiCaprio, Benicio del Toro movie?
The one that just came out?
Yeah, the one that just
more
came
after
out.
One battle after another?
Yes, one battle
after another.
when Leo's kid says something
Haven't
in his
watched
ear
it.
and he's just
Don't no.
I'm not
spoiler.
going to say anything, but you know the
Okay.
meme when the kid says something in Leo's ear and he's just like crying and nodding and like appreciating. I feel
Oh
like that's
yeah.
very Jack and Nick in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah. Man. Just want to like bottle up that feeling, you know, like it was just a lot of tension and then just like awesome like release. It was the best. So, yeah, yeah. Anyway, there was a game to play, and I do want to talk about the game a little bit because there is a lot to talk about in the game, obviously. So Bears game started off terribly. Like the first half, we all talked about how bad the first half was in our stories about what we were doing, and the first half was miserable to watch. It was absolutely terrible. The Bears had 3 drives in the first half. They put 3 points on the board. They weren't. It's not even like a situation. The Bears didn't have any 3 and outs in this game, so they were moving the ball every time they got the ball. It was just, it didn't feel like, I keep saying this, but like it didn't feel like a well-oiled thing. It just felt really clunky all the time. And then, you know, Ben Johnson made the decision to be ultra aggressive going for 4th downs, especially in your own territory, which is, I'm fine with, by the way. I'm not calling that. I don't think that was a bad call, but it just paired that with the fact that the Packers just could not be stopped. Just looked like an absolutely perfect team. They put up a graphic on the broadcast that Jordan Love is the first Packers quarterback to throw 3 touchdowns in a first half of a playoff game. I was like, that can't be right. Like, there's no fucking way that's right, but it is. So yeah, I mean, all these things in the first half, like I said, Bears had 3 drives, 3 points, 1 interception, and then an actual turnover on downs. I know the interception was a turnover on downs, but just terrible. And then the Packers, I mean, Jesus Christ, 9 plays, 85 yards, touchdown, 10 plays, 82 yards, touchdown, 8 plays, 32 yards, touchdown. Just a barrage of points, and just, they got whatever they wanted. And it was, I went back and I watched the game today, and obviously I thought the turning point happened at halftime, and I watched the game today, and I realized, I think the turning point actually happened on the Christian Watson fumble that they ended up scoring a touchdown anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was the turning point in the game, because after that, the Packers got the ball 1st and goal at the 1-yard line. The Bears forced them to 4th down. They did score on the 4th down. But then after that, Packers, the Bears go down, they turn it over on downs, and then the Packers get the ball. And then one thing that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about, and I think I was completely out of the game at this point, personally. Like, it was like 21-3. I think I texted everyone, if the Packers score again, like, I'm done. Like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And shout out to Ben Johnson for just like knowing that this team is going to come back and every single point matters, and treating that end of the first half field goal as an end of the game win or lose situation. He called that timeout, took 3 points off the board, and that mattered a lot. That ended up mattering a ton. So I just wanted to say, like, in the moment, I was kind of like laughing about it, like, oh, cool, they get 3 less points, whatever. But that ended up mattering so much. And I just want to say, I mean, I would expect the coach of the Bears to believe more in the team than I do, for sure. But it was just nice to see that actually in practice. He called that timeout. He literally took 3 points off the board with that. And that was huge, I think.
Yeah. I'm starting to believe too that like Ben Johnson needs like a full half of dissecting good defenses and setting up. We're going to talk a lot about this, but like setting them up towards one look and then going for another. Like he could be blanked in one half, and he's going to come back and run like the same sort of looks, but completely different plays, and they're just going to have success. But yeah, the first half for me was defined by Ben Johnson's aggressiveness first off, for something, Nick, you and I definitely called for at the beginning of the game of getting the ball and wanting to score. I know, Jay, you were on that boat a little bit too. And they went down and did kind of what the Bears have done over the last couple of games / years period of you get all the way down there and guess what? Okay, field goal. Hey, didn't score a touchdown. And that kind of set it up to where, like, oh shit, if they score a touchdown, are we going to be able to respond? I don't know. But yeah, the uber aggressiveness of Ben Johnson, I will take anytime. It just hurts to see the non-success of fourth down, especially when you're running from your own 35 right away. And there just seemed to be like a lot of disconnect. Caleb was mad at some of the routes that were being run. But yeah, I'll take a first half uber aggressive Ben Johnson if it results in what happened in the second half all the time.
Yeah, I've seen Ben get knocked a little bit, and not by a bunch. They won the game. We're all on cloud 9, but a little bit for the fourth down on the 35 or whatever. But, you know, in the playoffs, their defense couldn't stop anything, and you can't blame them for that. You got to win the ball offensively and score more points. So I was totally fine with that. I had no qualms against the call there.
Yeah, I think at one point during our preview show, we actually said, like, just don't punt, no punts.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I don't think they did punt in the game. I'm thinking back.
I don't think they did.
I don't think they did. So
Torrey Taylor definitely hit the field. Jay's favorite.
Oh, maybe they did punt one. I don't remember. But anyway, yeah, Drew, I was actually at the lowest point when the Bears just turned the ball over down 21-3, where the Packers could easily get in field goal range, at least possibly score a touchdown before the half. I was literally like typing up a text like, God damn it, Drew, this is why you always like, this is why you never receive. This is why you always,
you defer.
This is why you defer to the second half. God damn it. Now they're going to double up and they're down 35-3. You know, it was, I think we were all there. We were all in that dark place. And I think that's totally, I didn't send it, obviously, but that's what I was thinking. It was like, God, gotta defer. But I mean, deferring might have helped, but I also think, I really think that, so, okay, first half, train wreck, 21-3. It's funny because saying it out loud now doesn't seem as bad as it felt. You know what I mean? 21-3 is not good, but it felt like it was like 100-0. Felt like it was completely out of reach. So I do think that the missed field goal at the end of the half was huge. But if the Packers came out and they scored a touchdown on that first drive, especially if they just like marched down the field, you know, averaging almost 10 yards a play, didn't get, you know, Bears didn't put up any resistance like they did in the first half, I think that would have been like, all right, well, they missed a field goal, but here we go. The Bears defense, I don't know what Dennis Allen did at halftime. I don't know why he didn't do it at the beginning of the game. Maybe it was just some reactionary stuff. I don't know, but you know what? I don't care. That defense came out. They were flying around. They were making every single play. Packers could not run the ball in the second half. If you look at Josh Jacobs' stats, it's unbelievable what happened first half versus second half. He had, I think, he was averaging over 4 yards a carry, had almost 50 yards rushing in the first half. Second half, he had, I think, 7 carries for 6 yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you have a lead, that's what you want to do. You want to run the ball, and they told him they're like, nope, you're not doing that to us. So what I'm trying to get at though is that 3 and out the Bears defense forced to start the second half, even though the Bears offense didn't capitalize with a touchdown right away, it was kind of like, all right, we've kind of seen what you guys have. We've recalibrated. We're in this now. Like, it's back. And it's kind of like, it didn't feel like 100% back, but like, it was just the fun thing about this game was like, it felt like every drive, it's just like, okay, we're like 5% more there. We're 10% more there. We're almost all the way there. And then it just culminated with, you know, obviously the end of the game. And it was such a weird feeling watching that game, you know, because the Bears defense started playing better. And then the offense kind of was still doing the same stuff, but then just that fourth quarter comes and it's just a different team. It's just a different team in the fourth quarter. But to talk about the defense a little bit, I told you about the Packers drives in the first half, right? They were, like I said, they were averaging almost 10 yards a play on a couple of drives, touchdowns, no stopping them. Let me tell you about the Packers' first 4 offensive possessions in the second half. 3 plays, -2 yards, punt. 3 plays, 8 yards, punt. 5 plays, 13 yards, punt. 3 plays, -10 yards, punt. That's how you get yourself back into a football game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we've all seen the discourse on the Packer fan side where there's a lot of people calling for LaFleur's job and all that stuff. And I don't know. I mean, I rewatched the game today. It didn't seem like it was a super conservative game plan. They threw it a lot. They were throwing it a lot. The Bears D just had him locked up, and Jordan Love had probably 17 throwaways in the second half. He was throwing on the sideline like it was like that's all he was doing. So the Bears defense just locked them up and played outstanding defense in the second half.
They really did.
I don't know if it was to like a shift of man to zone or zone to man or whatever, but also I am going to commend Dennis Allen because it seemed like in the first half he didn't know what a blitz was, and there were several drives in the second half. I think at least in the first 2 that he called 3 consecutive blitzes.
Yeah.
And multiple guys coming from either the outside or inside A gap pressure. And again, that I feel like that kind of goes to our coaching staff that I said at the beginning of, like, it takes these guys a little bit of time in real time to digest what's going on out there. And see, okay, yeah, I'm going to get some A-gap pressure here, or I'm going to get some outside pressure here, or I'm going to show this one look on offense here with this wide receiver bunch set, and then I'm going to show you something completely different in the second half. It's, Dennis Allen, I was surprised. I know you didn't have it down here, Nick, but I was surprised that I know you give game balls to players, but Ben Johnson didn't call him out at the end of the game or in their post-game speech that he didn't get a possible game ball, because that going from 21 points and looking dead to 6 in the second is huge.
That was the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, absolutely. It absolutely was. So, Bears defense steps up. Huge half from the Bears. There was one particular drive I'm going to touch on a little bit later, but the drive where the Packers missed the field goal late in the fourth quarter. One of my favorite defensive series the Bears have played all season. I'm going to talk more about that. So we'll dive into that later, but that's just a little tease for the listeners. There's some really cool defensive stuff that went down on that drive. In terms of the Bears, they come in 3 and out, get the ball back, field goal. All right, 21-6. It's a 2-possession game now. Then I thought one play that I thought was kind of like the backbreaker, like, oh shit, I don't know. The interception in the red zone on 4th down, that was tough. The play looked terrible. DJ fell down on it. Cole Kmet kind of got held up at the line of scrimmage. Free rusher right up the middle, just looked not good. Not a good looking play. But again, the Bears defense continued playing hard. Bears get the ball back, field goal. Defense keeps up. Then you finally put it in the end zone. Now we're talking 21-16. This is a 1-possession game. Obviously, then, Matthew Golden scores his touchdown, and then it was just all good stuff from there. So just a really weird flow of this game, but it just kind of, like I said, it just kind of like kept building up in the second half, and it was just so much fun to watch. And just like that second half was one of my favorite things, like one of my favorite hour and a half of television I've ever watched in my life. Like it was so awesome. Yeah. And the crazy thing is that, like, a lot of times, like, you look at like the Bears Packers game in Soldier Field that they came back and won. They won that game because the defense stepped up and shut them down, but also because they got a lot of bounces, right? The Bears got the onside kick. A lot of things went their way. The Bears weren't getting those bounces this game. Like, they absolutely were not. And I actually have written down here 3 plays, and I'm sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about, is like the missed opportunities. There was the Christian Watson fumble in the first half when the Bears are up, or the Packers are up 14-3. Christian Watson tries to dive in, fumbles, and the ball's just sitting there for like 2 seconds, and then Romeo Doubs jumps on it. This is a ball that the Bears usually get, right?
Yeah.
So that was an opportunity on the Bears third drive in the second half, Jordan Love threw that pass to that offensive lineman, Darian Kinnard or whatever his name was. He fumbles the ball. That ball is just sitting there. Gravon Dexter jumps on it.
Yeah.
Ball bounces like off his knee and
Yeah,
out of
just
bounds. And then
slip and slide.
Greased
Yeah.
fucking ham.
Yeah. Yeah. And then after the Bears took the lead, after the Bears brought it to within one possession, 21-16, Josh Jacobs is back there returning a kick, has a great kick return, but then Elijah Hicks punches the ball out, and that ball is just sitting there. Packers had 3 fumbles, and they recovered all 3 of them. So the Bears aren't getting like the bounces going their way that they had to really battle for this comeback. And it's just fun to see that it like happened the way it did. So anyway, So I want to talk about the Bears offense though, because the Bears offense was it was very normal for us this season, but it was very just weird how, again, first half just looked like they had never practiced together. Like there was some plays that worked, but there was a lot of receivers running wrong routes and people not knowing where to line up and a lot of just confusion everywhere. Then it led to 3 possessions with 3 points, which that'll happen. The game plan, I think one of the big issues is that the game plan was clearly run the ball a substantial amount in this game. And the Packers were ready for that. The Packers were not going to let the Bears run the ball down their throats. And I think that kind of threw a wrench in the game plan. And I think that at halftime it was adjusted and fixed. But in the first half, the reason the Bears look so bad is because I think their game plan was just run the ball 100 times in this game and make them beat you. And they were prepared for that. So it was interesting to see them come out and look so flat. But then obviously halftime comes, the offense comes alive. And also I'm going to shout him out probably 3 or 4 times in this pod. Colson Loveland is just a monster.
Wow. Yeah.
Like he got the 2-point conversion, but he didn't score any of the touchdowns. He didn't have any of like the big 4th down catches, but my God, every time Caleb threw it to him, he was open and he was catching the ball and he was, going to make a couple more yards after the catch. We were all questioning the pick at, back in April or whenever it was, May. I can't remember when the draft was, but I think that he's a bona fide superstar. He's like one of the best tight ends in the league. I think he put up 137 receiving yards in this game. That's unbelievable. I think it's just, he was everywhere. And I think that Packers, particularly the Packers, but everybody is just like looking at this guy like, oh no,
Mm-hmm.
You put him and Ben
Johnson
Johnson
catch in the first half.
He had
might have had
one in the
one
first
or
half,
two.
but it was like towards the end of the first half. Yeah, it was not till. Sorry, look at my notes. It was not till their like 4th possession of the game.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I guess that was 3rd possession of the game. Anyway, doesn't matter. He was not super impactful in the first, but he was everywhere in the second half. Oh, excuse me. But also fun thing, I didn't wrote down the yardage here. Uh-oh. Did you guys lose me?
No,
You're
you're
okay.
still here.
Keep going.
You're still here.
Oh, really? My computer is freaking out on me right now.
It is.
Just a
Sorry,
little lag. We can take it over if it happens.
Why don't you guys drive for a minute and I will come back when everything's working properly.
Yeah.
Jay, I want to hear your voice.
Haven't
heard you
No,
talk.
I mean, when we're breaking down Bears offense, it just throw the first half out of the window, and it all starts really in the last 3 possessions that the Bears had and scoring those touchdowns. One of the things that I wanted to touch on too was the lack of good coaching from the Packers playing with the lead. I thought that was very confusing. And again, Nick was kind of touching on this earlier. We've been talking about it a lot, Drew, on our chats with Nick as well, of people calling for LaFleur's head and wanting him to get fired. I think he's a fine coach. I think he probably wants one possession back in particular, which was their second to last possession, the Packers' second to last possession. Not a lot of time left in the game. Right. Too many passing and incomplete passes. 7 plays, 46 yards, ended up in the missed field goal. What are you going to do? You can blame that in McManus, as Packers Twitter's been crowning McManus this weekend, McAnus, which just makes me fucking laugh.
McDonald's needs to come out with a burger for that.
The McAnus meal. Just a bag of poop. But I mean, they only took 1 minute and 10 seconds off of the clock there, and that would prove to be catastrophic for them. I don't know what they were thinking. I really don't, and why they were wanting to pass the ball so much. Maybe it was because they weren't establishing a run game, but you playing with a lead with minimal time on the clock, you got to run that ball. But I just don't know how Caleb continues and the Bears continue to kind of pull this magic out, right? And you know, I know Nick's. I'm not going to steal Nick's thunder. We'll give him a little bit of time to get back, but the absolute majestic miracle, whatever you want to call it, but they just Caleb and the line and the everything just came out of the shadows on those last 3 possessions, and it was like nothing could stop them. It was unbelievable. So I guess I'm just going on a little bit of a tangent there. I don't even know how to dissect this game because I was in such a state of euphoria watching it that the individual plays almost didn't really stick in my memory. It was just like the raw emotion of watching that game. Is what I got. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you think?
No, so many specific things stuck out in that second half of what was going wrong with Green Bay and what was going right with the Bears. And it to me, it was a perfect symphony of like Green Bay had to be feeling, and their fans had to be feeling the exact emotions that we were feeling in the second half, in the first half.
Yeah.
And I saw so many things after the fact of like, oh my gosh, this is why you don't talk shit. This is why you don't do this. Like, this is what this is why the Bears are frauds in the first half. And, but that's why you don't do that. That's why you play 4 quarters. That's why you play a total of, 60 minutes. Like, you got to get all the way through it. Hey, Nick, good to have you back. But yeah, Jay, that stuck out to me of like, gosh, oh, we went in the Zoom. Like, gosh, like I can't believe how this just happened and how it all went down. And Nick, we're getting back to the offense here.
Yep.
We kind of just, Jay and I just resonated on some of the extra things in the second and first half. But Colson Loveland sing his praises. Another person I kind of want to shout out, although it's not offense, it's special teams. Devin Duvernay, I guess, just is my guy now.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Great. Yeah, you can return a kick. You can return a punt. Thank you for getting us into some possessions, into some great positions too. Like that was awesome. But back to you, Nick, on some offensive things.
Yeah, of course. We're just doing the biggest podcast that we've ever done after the best game we've ever watched as a podcast. So of course my stuff's not going to work. So anyway, I don't know. And I apologize. I dropped for a minute. So if you guys talked about this, I apologize for duplicating what you guys are talking about. But talking about the offense, Caleb set a Bears record for yards in a playoff game. 361 passing yards. Caleb Williams is also the only quarterback in, I believe, NFL history besides Warner to throw for over 350 yards in their playoff debut in a win.
That's awesome.
Wow. That's crazy.
I mean, he only completed 50% of his passes.
I know.
You know?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Yep, I do.
So this was not nickel and diming stuff. These throws that he was making were, I mean, let's talk about the 4th and 10, right? I mean, that was one of the craziest passes I've ever seen.
Yeah.
In a moment that big, in impactful, like that was something that doesn't happen to the Bears. That's something that Aaron Rodgers would do to the Bears to put a knife in our gut.
Yeah. I wrote it on here. That's going to play that's on Caleb Williams like highlight reel for the rest of his career. Like that's going to be one of the top plays, not just because of the level of technical difficulty that the play was, but also the moment, the team you're playing against, every like just that's a play the Bears fail at.
Yeah, 100% of the time.
100 out of 100 time.
Yep.
Like it's not even like it's yeah. And to see, I mean, to see that ball floating up there and to see Roma Dunze just right there, it was it honestly, like if you actually go back and watch that play again, the corner that is on him follows him across the entire field. And then as soon as the ball is getting close to Roma Dunze, it looks like that corner tries to like jump I don't remember who it was, but there's a player a couple yards in front of Roma Dunze. It looks like that guy thought the ball was going there because he fell off of Rome, and that led Rome kind of drift back and make the catch. And it almost felt like somebody went back in time and moved that guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like somebody like paused time and did something because like angels in the outfield situation. You know what I mean? Like it's like what it felt like because he was there and then he just wasn't. I don't know. And then Rome, shout out to Rome too, because he didn't obviously have a super huge impact on the game, but that catch, he got fucking lit up when he caught that and he held on to it.
Yeah.
So that was a big one. There were so many. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was just going to say the degree of difficulty of that pass, of rolling out, scrambling against the grain. Alex on the chat nailed it, man. The Jumpman logo, like that was, that's what like legends are made out of in this town. And that's step one of Caleb doing that. I mean, you beat the Packers in the playoffs. You make magic. You pull just magic out of your ass, really, on that play. If that play is not converted, the Bears don't win the game. And like you said, I mean, what are the odds of that actually? I mean, is the only place that ball could have gone. The degree of difficulty, again, is off the charts. It's a throw that Patrick Mahomes and Caleb Williams can make. Yeah. And I guarantee you that's the end of that list.
The fun thing, if you guys, I don't know, Jay, I know you've spoken a couple of things times about it. The all-22, you watch that throw in the all-22, it is so much more nerve-wracking. Like, well, it's less nerve-wracking than it is like watching the live because you don't know who's down there.
Yeah, you can't. You're right.
Quarterback throw the ball, like it's up there. Like when you watch the all-22, you can see where Rome is, and you're like, okay, that's a completable pass. But from the cinematics of what we were watching on Prime Video or on Fox, like he throws that ball up, and you're like, oh shit. We've seen Caleb do it so many times that he's just kind of off balance. He throws it and there's no one there, or it's an interception. We saw it a couple of times in this game. But that's crazy. It was crazy to see like somebody just, like Nick said, somebody just got positioned underneath that ball. Somebody came down from the heavens and said, okay, sure. You're going to catch this one now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was that. I mean, again, that's a play that is we're gonna get very familiar with that play. You know, like that's gonna be on any highlight reel you see, any kind of like if you're on like a primetime game, they're gonna show like some clips of plays in the past of your better players, and that's gonna be on there. Like we're gonna be very familiar with that play. There's gonna be posters of that in people's in people's like basements and stuff in their garages. Like that's gonna be a thing, and we just saw it in real time, and that's just really cool, you know. Like it just rocks to be able to like say like, yeah, I saw that happen, and now I see that poster up on everyone's wall. So that's awesome.
Can we really quickly talk about one thing though? Because that play does not happen without what happened just before it. And if you guys don't remember, that was a 4th and 3 play.
Oh yeah,
4th and 3. It's 4th and 3 and a false start by Drew Dahlman, who did a clutch on the snap and then ended up throwing it over Caleb's head by about 15 yards. Yeah. He doesn't do that. Obviously, that play doesn't happen, and you're at a 4th and 3, and there's a different who knows what the outcome is. It's a different reality for a different time, but yeah, that doesn't happen. I was watching somebody else pointed that out on social media, and I was like, oh wow, yeah, that actually did happen.
Yeah.
But that doesn't. Drew Dahlman doesn't. Another one of our favorite things to happen this season, a pre-snap penalty. That doesn't happen. We don't
True.
have the end up success that that befalled us.
Yeah. That whole drive was kind of a series of just like magic. Like obviously the Drew Dahlman thing happens, pushes 4th and 3 to 4th and 8. Dread is coming over all of us. The play happens where Caleb throws it to Rome. They get the first down. 3 plays later, there's a play. It's 3rd and 10. Bears have not scored yet on this drive. It's 3rd and 10. Caleb just checks it down to Kyle Monungai just to get positive yards to make it an attainable 4th down. And Kyle Monungai makes a dude miss. Shout out Luther Burden, who I don't know if he ran into the guy on accident, but I'm going to give him credit for an awesome block. Yeah. He blocked somebody, and they pick up 20 yards on 3rd and 10. And then that obviously sets up the Olamide Zacchaeus touchdown. So just that whole drive was a magic drive. It needed, like, it couldn't have happened any other way. So those, like, that entire drive is a key drive. Yeah, I mean, and I believe that was the touchdown where they scored the 2-point conversion, where they basically just said, hey, Packers safety, we're just going to put Colson Loveland on you one-on-one. Good luck. And that's exactly what happened.
You know, if we could talk about that play just a little bit, I thought that was such a good play call by Ben Johnson, and the fact that that play started in a tight, 13 package. They had 3 tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
God, who's the third tight end? Smythe, right in the backfield.
Smythe, yeah.
And you saw the outside coverage. They had one lone. I mean, the Packers came in with their jumbo set defensively. They had one, defensive back in coverage. Whoever was out tight. I mean, that safety from the Packers has never played a snap this season.
Yeah, not in coverage.
On the defensive side of the ball, only special teams.
Oh, really?
And so then they see that and send Colston Loveland and put this backup on an island with Colston fucking Loveland, and it's just pitch and catch from that point. Yeah. So that was really well executed to be able to kind of put in a package that you can run out of that, spread your tight ends wide, and pick the matchup that you want. That's exactly what happened. Throw it to the front pylon, and there's no defense for that. So, and that was a huge 2-point conversion as well. Yep. So loved it.
Absolutely. I mean, you don't get that 2-point conversion. You're talking about, you look, if everything happened the same way, you're talking about, instead of needing a touchdown to win, you're talking about a field goal wins it for you, right? If you don't get that. So that was a huge 2-point conversion. Every single point was so important. Everything mattered in this game. So there was a couple other, so that, obviously, that was like the magical drive. Everything, the stars aligned for that drive. Bears' next drive also had some crazy stuff happen. Bears are driving down to take the lead. Caleb scrambles to his right, and he finds DJ Moore at full speed, nobody within 10 yards of him, and DJ Moore just drops the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And it was real. I mean, it wasn't like super deflating, but it was like we were peaking, like we were at the peak, and it just like that would have made the place go fucking crazy. And it's like, we went back down a couple pegs. So that was on 2nd down, 3rd and 5. Caleb just bad coverage from the Packers. They don't have anybody covering the flat. He hits it, throws it to Swift, picks up 23 yards on 3rd and 5. They move on. And then obviously I think it might've been the next play or shortly thereafter was the touchdown to DJ Moore, which Drew, you alluded to earlier when you're talking about Ben Johnson setting stuff up. He had been setting that play up all game. The entire game he'd been setting up that play. And I love it. I don't know if you guys noticed this or not, but they actually moved. Oh my God, names are escaping me right now. The right tackle, Darnell Wright. They moved him to an unbalanced line to the left to play the end of the line on the left side, and they had Cole Kmet one-on-one with the Packers defensive end actually on that play. Mm-hmm. Just to overly sell it, Darnell Wright. If you see the replay of it, there's one angle where like you see like Darnell Wright from like here up on like the camera, and he's just like got eyes like a crazy person. He's selling it like hell, and then DJ Moore is wide open, and it was awesome. Just again, having a coach that is not just trying to succeed on every play, but like trying to set things up that will succeed later in the game.
Yeah.
Right. It's just so refreshing.
Chess,
this is
not
why.
checkers.
What?
It's chess, not checkers.
No, you're right. And this is why I will accept a couple wide receiver screens here and there. I hate to play.
yeah.
But if you have a plan to do something else off of it, I'm okay with it. The problem is that every Bears offensive coordinator we've ever had, just that they didn't do the second part.
That was their big bang. Was the wide receiver screen. That was the ace in the hole. It wasn't a setup play. It was like, all right, we needed something big here.
Yeah, let's throw him the old bubble
3rd
screen.
and 20.
Oh God. So we just mentioned all these plays. There are so many other plays, like small plays that just made a huge difference. I also got to throw a special shout out to Ozzie Trapillo. I feel bad for the guy. He got hurt on the last drive, and it sounds like he's going to be out for the rest of the play. I actually think he is officially out for the rest of the playoffs.
Yeah.
But you know what? And he got up and he hopped off the field to get off to make sure that there was no 10-second runoff or anything like that, which wasn't necessary because it actually happened on the play that DJ Moore dropped that we were just talking about. That was the play he got hurt on. So the clock was stopped. There was no need to do that. But I think that he was just kind of like, I'm hurt. It's late. I need to get off the field as soon as I can.
Yep.
And I appreciate the heart and the, just the toughness to get off the field. I don't know. I think that it would have been easy, just the fact that he thought this could hurt my team, just that thought went through his head, and he again had the heart to get up and hustle off the field. It's just I think that speaks volumes to what Ben Johnson is preaching to the entire team. So I think I just wanted to shout that out because I thought, one, he's filled in really good, and I think he's going to be a good player moving forward, and he needed a shout out. But two, I thought that was an unbelievable effort, and I just love where his head was at on that play.
Yeah. I mean, that's like a, trenches guy,
Oh yeah,
Iron Man type shit. But what it shows is it's the team before me. Right.
Yep.
And that's the kind of mentality that gives you the confidence at halftime, being down 21-3, probably listen to some motivational ass speeches right at halftime. And this is what the coaching staff brings. These guys want to be on this team. They want to win football games for the team, right? They want to be part of something bigger than themselves. That's what sports is all about, but it's not always what the NFL is about. And it's really nice to see that team. And again, maybe I'm looking more into it than I should, but I'm kind of on your same wavelength here, Nick. It's those are the kind of things where you can be down because you're hurt, and he was seriously hurt.
Yeah,
but
you could have called the cart, and nobody would have batted
100%.
Yeah,
but it's hey, you show that kind of shit's infectious amongst the team too. I mean, we've all played sports. We know that. Yeah. You got an Iron Man out there that's going to give up his body and do something that's going to hurt himself physically for the betterment of the team or just the morale of the team. That shit goes a long way. And I think that is infectious. And I think that starts at the top with Ben.
Yeah. Nick, I'm glad you brought this up, and Jay, I'm glad you embellished on it because he tore his patellar tendon.
Yeah.
He actually tore that shit, which is what connects your kneecap to your shin bone.
Yeah.
And he hobbled off the field with that, knowing that he had to do something when he really didn't.
Right.
That shows the guys the type of character and the type of mentality that is out there. That I would love to see how many injured guys in the NFL that have that injury get taken off on a cart or get carried off or anything like that, because a 24-year-old kid who just got drafted this year, that's pretty cool to see.
Yeah.
And
also while we're talking about injuries, TJ Edwards also, he broke his fibula in the game on a freak play. Just a weird, you guys saw, I assume you guys all saw the replay, just kind of a freak thing. He got his feet caught at the wrong time and just foot went one way, and you hate to see it. He's been battling injuries all season. He finally looked healthy out there, and just a freak thing that happened to him. So Ozzie and TJ, we hoping for a quick recovery. Hope to see you guys back next year. It's a bummer to see you guys not in the playoffs anymore, though.
Yeah.
Just got an official announcement, by the way.
What's that?
5:30. 5:30 on Sunday.
Wow.
Okay.
Yep.
That's the first. That's
Okay.
Oh, that's the nightcap, right? That's the later game
Yeah.
too.
That's
Yeah.
late
Yeah.
because
Because they
5:30
got like a two. They got like a 2 o'clock.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
They're
And
trying
that's
to
Eastern time
spread
too,
the-
no? Or
well, it's 6:30 Eastern.
oh, 6:30 Eastern. Okay.
Okay.
So no, not Eastern.
Yeah.
He already translated it for us.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So yeah, Bears will be playing at 5:30 p.m. on Sunday, which we'll have more to talk about that on Thursday's show. But yeah, that's all that. Yeah. But anyway, speaking of TJ Edwards, I do want to talk about the defense a little bit. We've kind of talked about him a pretty good amount already. Just want to make sure we give them some time as well. You know, what I have written down here is in the first half, all of our worst fears were realized. That's it was like first half, everything that we were hoping would not happen is exactly what happened. Jordan Love threw for 135 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half. And honestly, if this stat said 435 yards and 43 touchdowns, I would have believed it. Like it felt like whatever they wanted, they got. I mentioned this off the start, but Josh Jacobs had 12 carries for 49 yards in the first half. That's 4.1 yards per carry. I mean, the wide receivers were running wide open, no pass rush of any kind. And it felt like, I mean, as the Packers should have, they game planned for exactly that situation. Like, hey, the Bears aren't going to get any pass rush on us, so we can have these like late developing routes down the field, and they're going to be open because the DBs can't cover for that long. So, and honestly, like, I do think that I still don't think Jordan Love's like an elite quarterback by any stretch of the imagination, but he is putting the ball on the money a lot of the time. He's maybe we've been a little hard on him.
No, he sucks.
He sucks.
No, he put up 4 touchdowns. He had a hell of a game.
By the way, I mentioned that stat about him in the first half. I also heard a stat that no Packers quarterback had ever thrown 4 touchdowns in a playoff game, which I thought couldn't be correct. I haven't fact checked that, so it might not be right. Because I remember that there was that Arizona game. Aaron Rodgers is like early in his career. They put up, it was like 100 points total in that game, I think, or something like that. So there's no way that could be right, but maybe it was a running game. I don't know. But anyway, Jordan Love is like doing things that Packers quarterbacks have never done before, which is honestly saying something. So, but yeah, again, Dennis Allen, we're going to need a manuscript of that speech you gave at halftime, because I want to read that. I want to post it on my wall. Whatever he did or said, or Ben Johnson or both of them, whatever you guys did at halftime, just the defense just was a different team. They were a different team in the second half. Like, that wasn't the same team. I'm convinced that they just, I don't know. Brian Urlacher was in the house. Maybe he came out there and took a couple snaps. I don't know what happened. They just were a different team. Like,
Nick, keep saying. Well, you were kind of reconnecting everything. We were talking a little bit about Matt LaFleur and his game plan in the second half, and again, we can kind of talk more about the whole LaFleur thing and his, is he going to stay or is he going to go? I think he's a great coach. I really do. But that being said, I was baffled by some of the play calling, specifically on the second to last possession. And sorry, Drew, to kind of rehash this, but I wanted to get Nick's opinion on it too. You wrote down in bold, and rightfully so, their last possession of the game only lasted 1 minute and 10 seconds, and they had 7 plays run, right? They got a first down. And to only take 1 minute and 10 seconds off of the clock was insane to me, the amount of passes that they were doing late in the game. Perhaps it was because of the stat that you read that Josh Jacobs only ran for 7 times for 8 yards. But when you're up 21-3, it's inexcusable to only run your running back 7 times. I can't wrap my head around the play calling that they were running out there. Not to take anything away from the Bears defense,
right?
But we certainly were aided by really incompetent play calling on that second to last possession.
So on that second to last possession, I really wanted to make sure that we had time to talk about that specific possession.
Okay.
For sure. And second to last possession, listeners were talking about the drive where the Packers had a 3-point lead. They went down the field. They got a couple first downs, and they missed the field goal. That's the drive we're talking about right here. Okay, so first off, I think at least on that drive, and I think probably most of the second half, a lot of the reason why you saw both pass plays and pass plays that didn't end up like with throwaways is because I think a lot of times they had a run play called and the Bears were showing multiple blitzers and the Packers changed the play at the line to try and take advantage of man coverage on the outside. But what Dennis Allen did was that he would show blitz and then they would back out of it and they would play like a zone. So what would end up happening is the Packers are coming in for a max protect. They have 2 or 3, like 2 players out in routes, and the Bears are sitting back in like a full like cover 3, cover 4 coverage with everything taken away. So they throw the ball away. So yes, the play calling was a problem, and they probably should have realized that that was happening and at least just ran the ball into the brick wall a couple times anyway, just because it takes time off the clock. But I do think that Dennis Allen's defense had an effect on the play calling, and I think that that is part of the reason why.
I dig it. That's excellent analysis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect analysis.
And then also just on that drive specifically, this is like one of my, like, so Packers are up by 3 points. There's 4 minutes, a little bit, I think it was a little bit more than 4 minutes left in the game when they got the ball. You're down by 3 points. The worst thing that could happen to you if you're the Bears is the Packers just get 4 first downs by running the ball and they just run the clock out and the game's over, right? That's the worst thing that can happen. So Dennis Allen knows this. Dennis Allen says, all right, here's what we're going to do. We are going to blitz the hell out of them. We are going to take the run away, and we are going to play man coverage on the outside with help on the inside. So if they're going to throw the ball, they're going to have to throw it to the sideline. It's kind of a reverse, like that last end of game prevent situation where they're trying to get them to go to the sidelines so that when they tackle them, they can tackle them out of bounds and stop the clock. So the Packers options are run into a brick wall, have the Bears burn their timeouts and then punt the ball back to the Bears, or try to move the ball down the field and basically if you go that way, you have to basically score a touchdown for it to be, or at least get a field goal if you want it to be worth it. So the Bears defense, while it looked like it was getting gashed and Kyler Gordon was getting, beaten on a few plays, a lot of it was because he was favoring the inside and he was not as worried about the outside because he knew if he went outside, they'd be able to catch him and get him out of bounds. And that is like such elite defensive play calling to think like, okay, we just can't have them get the ball in the middle of the field. If we can keep them out of the middle of the field, we're going to be okay. And even if they would have made that field goal, you're still down by 6. It's still a 1 possession game, puts you in a touchdown, an extra point, puts you in the lead. So I thought it was a great use of like a great thought of like, we can't have them run the ball and kill this clock. And I thought it was just a perfect play call. They only had to use 2 of their timeouts too. The Bears still had a timeout in their pocket when they got the ball back down by 3 points. So it was just a unbelievable defensive strategy. Worked like a charm. And then of course you got to throw in Brandon McManus just as a terrible kicker and missed that field goal. By the way, I don't know about you guys, but like at that point I was kind of like, there's no fucking way this guy makes this kick. Like I was actually like, he's not making like, I've never been so sure of anything in my entire life that guy was not making that kick. And I've seen a lot of the Packer fan reaction videos. I think a lot of them agreed with me. I think they were like, well, this is just give him the ball. He's not making this.
Sorry, really quick, just to add to that. When I was watching that, me and my dad were just pacing around their house and we were looking at each other. And that's exactly what we were saying. Like, I'm not trying to, jinx this. There's no way he's making this kick. There's just no way he's making this kick.
Yeah.
And we were just, going nuts, but like, really quick side note again, to double down on this to the listeners, apologies. But Nick, I think you were away. The lore of Packers Twitter calling Brandon McManus is one of my favorite things in the world right now.
That rocks. When you sent that text earlier, I thought you said that the Packers official Twitter account accidentally referred to him as Brandon McManus, and I was like looking for it, like someone's got to have a screenshot of this because I want it. But either way,
that's Mason Crosby back.
Nope.
Yeah. Mason Crosby's got to be like, I don't know how old he actually is, but I remember he had like gray hair when he was still playing. So he's got to be like 50. But yeah, God, I don't know, that kick. I just knew it didn't have a chance of going in. But the funny thing is that when the ball got kicked, obviously the camera is behind the uprights. I thought it was going to miss to like the viewer's right, like a wide left, I guess, for the kicker, but like to the right side of as we were watching it. And as it started going the other way, I was like, fuck, he made it. And then it just kept going. And it just like kept going. I'm like, nope, he missed the other way. All right.
Yep. The old slice.
Yeah.
Old slice.
Oh, buddy, am I familiar? Yeah. So, and as soon as he missed that kick, I knew they were going to win. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was weird. But
it was destiny. It was destiny.
With all that being said, having the Packers have the ball down by 4 with like a minute and a half left was one of the most terrifying things I've ever we've been in this situation a lot this season, but almost exclusively we've had the ball, right? We've been the ones driving. We've been the ones that are like moving the ball. We've been the ones that are threatening to score. Seeing our defense out there, as good as they played in the second half, was still very scary because, I mean, we all saw that Matthew Golden touchdown, like 6 people missed a tackle. We were one of those away from losing this game after everything that had happened. And a couple of one drop, the Jaden Reed pass was a drop, and that one should have been caught. And then a pass that missed Christian Watson by like maybe a foot lower, and it's a touchdown, or at least like down to the 3-yard line. It was close. It was so close. And oh my God. And then Jordan Love fumbles that snap, and it's just mayhem. And I don't think that play was supposed to be the last play of the game, but it had to be. And just mayhem everywhere. It was. And then it was just so funny because I don't know. I feel like a lot of times with that play, you have like a jump ball situation or a tip ball or an interception. Nope, just Kyler Gordon just hit him in the chest and dropped it. Game over. It was like such an anticlimactic end to like a moment.
Wait, is it over?
It was over and we won, and no flags, and it was awesome because obviously after that play happened, have to like subdue your response for like a good 2 seconds. Like, all right, flag.
Yep.
All right, no flag. We're good. Let's go. And then madness ensued. Ben Johnson got tackled by Roma Dunze, put on his back, which was one of my favorite clips. The handshake heard around the world.
Oh my God. I loved it. Dude, Ben was cold-blooded, baby.
Dude.
Post-game, handshake, all that shit.
I don't have a Ben Johnson section on here because I feel like every positive thing I said I'm almost directing it all at Ben Johnson. Like, obviously the players are playing, but everything about this team's like attitude and the way that they play and their like spirit and their fight, that all comes from Ben Johnson, because this team is by and large, minus like a couple rookies and maybe a couple other players, is the same team that was under Matt Eberflus last year. A lot of same pieces. And this team had none of that. Like absolutely none of that. Any sign of adversity, they were crumbling like your grandparents' like folding chair that they've had for 80 years. Like, this is a team that was a team that could not put up with any adversity, and this team thrives on it. And so yeah, Ben Johnson deserves a lot of credit for that. Ben Johnson, I mean, the handshake, I've been kind of on record saying I think the handshake is overrated. Like, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. But Ben Johnson did not think it was not a big deal.
Yeah,
he took it very personally.
Yeah.
And oh God.
That's double nuts dragged across the face on 2 back-to-back handshakes. Like, see you later, bitch. You know what I mean? I loved it. I eat that shit up though.
Yes.
Yeah, I do. Because I truly don't believe that the original, and I know we're going into handshake analysis, so my apologies. I'll get off. No. We said we weren't going to do it. But like the first one from LaFleur, I don't believe that there was like a ton of bad intent there. It's like, whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't super malicious.
Get over it. Ben didn't think that. And I don't know if he's like making that into a thing. I truly believe he just does not fucking like the guy. And I mean, in the interviews, the fuck the Packers chant, even on interviews when he was asked about it today, like, do you regret anything you said? He's like, no, man, like, I don't like the Packers. This is a rivalry. It means a lot to the fans. Like, it should mean a lot to the players. Like, we should play with a little extra pizzazz against these guys. We don't like them. They don't like us. Like, we don't have to be cordial about it. And like, I think that kind of reemphasizes the fact that I don't know if you even want to call it a handshake, but he roadrunnered him. He just kept on fucking going.
Underneath,
you know?
Yeah.
one of the most disrespectful handshakes that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
I fucking love it. I
do, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
The other, like, the person that kind of reminds me of in Chicago sports lore is, not that I'm comparing him to Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan, like, coming up with reasons to just do things like against people, like because you don't like them, or like giving yourself a reason to just keep firing yourself up. Great. Yeah. This guy sucks. Okay. I'm gonna give him the business right here in front of him.
I forget maybe it was on the Last Dance documentary, but like they were interviewing one of an opposing player, and they're like, yeah, Mike just made up a fucking story about me, and like to use his motivation.
Yeah,
like,
I just looked it up too because I was thinking about this. LeBradford Smith is the guy's name.
LeBradford Smith. LeBradford Smith team. You ever heard of LeBradford Smith? Yeah, that's what happened.
He never said a word, but Michael Jordan.
Hey, so you know what? Matt LaFleur has a L in it. LeBradford.
There you go.
Yeah. Matt LaFleur.
But
there you go.
No, Drew, it's funny because when Jay was talking about it, I agree. Like I don't think that there was a ton of malicious intent in Matt LaFleur's like first kind of blow by, but I do think that Ben Johnson, like that Michael Jordan meme, like, and I took that shit personally. You know what I mean? Like, it's exactly what it was.
Yes.
And we were talking in the group chat to Paul earlier today, and he said something about like, did you think Ben Johnson was about to like freak out or lose his mind in the first half? I'm like, buddy, Ben Johnson is always about to freak out. He's a fucking psycho, and I love it. Like, I love that.
I also love how this the Ben Johnson beating the Packers twice at the beginning of the season has morphed into AI, or some people somehow putting it out there saying, well, not only the AI of him punching and everything
that rocked.
He didn't say I loved beating Matt LaFleur twice a year, but somehow that's surfaced out to saying I love beating Matt LaFleur twice. He said I love beating the Packers twice.
No, he said Matt LaFleur.
Did he say Matt LaFleur?
He did say Matt LaFleur. He specifically called out Matt LaFleur.
I was gonna say, yeah.
He did 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
I love, by the way.
Yeah. No. Great. Now I gotta change my take.
No.
You know who Ben reminds me of though, with that like insanity in when he's not coaching, like he's back in, and like Ben Johnson's like probably a very loving husband and father, all that good stuff. On the field, he's just an absolute psycho menace. Reminds me a lot of John Gruden, especially young John Gruden. I don't know if you guys get that vibe at all, but like I get that little extra. Okay, we got an unhinged fucking psycho, when there's still time on the clock. So
wild card bitches. Yeehaw.
I mean, speaking of the Ben Johnson stuff, like going into the locker room and just shouting "fuck the Packers, fuck those guys" from the head coach after beating him in the playoffs. I mean, like, I don't like, there's not a lot more in life that I want than that. Like, like that's like all I want. I mean, this is our entire life. Like our entire lives, we never had this, like, not even just like the good team, but just like the fiery coach. Like our dads, like they had Ditka, like when they were like young adults, and Ditka was a cocky, like very like Bears first, fuck everybody else kind of guy. And every coach we've had since Ditka was just not that, right? Like even Lovie Smith, who was a good coach, was not that guy at all. He was like Mr. Ultra respectful, which again, that's not a knock on Lovie. That's who he is. But I love this like fiery guy. Like I wouldn't have wanted to see Lovie like this because I know that wasn't him. But I'm glad that we have a coach now that is like that, like naturally. It's just who he is. He's a psycho, and I love it.
Yeah. I mean, it just gets the players up too. Like there's an extra pop with that.
Yeah. And also one last thing about this Ben Johnson, like when he said, fuck the Packers, Jay, you mentioned he talked to the media today. They asked him about it. And he specifically said that he talked to George McCaskey about it. And the quote, I think, was, we're on the same page. So I just imagine George McCaskey pulled him into the office and was like, fuck the Packers. He's like, fuck the Packers. And they get out of the office. Good meeting, shake hands, go back to practice.
And again, I don't know if we read the same article or saw the same thing, but this is the same George McCaskey who, when the Bears were on Hard Knocks, ensured that there was no swearing on HBO's Hard Knocks, right? Winning cures everything.
Yeah. Yeah. George McCaskey's been on a little bit of a heater lately. Did you see that video of him? Did you see the video of him at the tailgate? I think it was the last Packers game where he was taking a picture with some fans and some Packer fan tried to like photobomb it. And he basically like he just pushed him away, but like where he pushed him, it looks like he kind of like grabbed him by the neck and like pushed him away and then rocked. And also like after TJ Edwards got carted off on Saturday, George McCaskey went sprinting down the tunnel to hang out with TJ Edwards in the locker room, which is like a classy thing to do.
Dude,
like,
that's cool as hell.
Yeah. So George McCaskey, bit of a heater.
Speaking of classy McCaskey moves, the Bears paid for a bunch of Ubers for fans to get out of the stadium too.
Yeah.
So God, I don't know what that. Never mind. I was gonna say that's a bad. Well, I'm gonna say it anyway. All it took was Virginia to go away, and sorry.
No, it's true. Because you know what? It's funny because when you were talking about how this is the same George McCaskey that said no swearing during Hard Knocks, it's like, well, there was one thing that was in place then that isn't in place now that I think made a little bit of a difference. And yeah,
Virginia was going to get the belt for her son.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, belt to ass for sure.
Yeah. Virginia at 98, just whooping ass.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, is there? I don't know. That's all I have written down. I'm sure I missed some stuff because there was a fucking lot that happened on Saturday and since. But I don't know. Is anything jumping out to you guys that I missed that we want to touch on?
Not game related specifically, but the cameramen of this game were really on fire. They kept on going to the cheese grater guy. I don't know. The cheese grater guy's become a little bit of a Chicago legend. All of a sudden, just drunk out of his mind.
How much cheese did that man bring to the
game? I don't know. Jesus
not only
Christ.
that, like, how do you get a grater in is that not a weapon?
Buddy, I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Where'd that come from? From
That
under
guy rocked.
cheese.
Did you see Caleb in the squad grating the cheese in the at the booth too?
Dude,
it's fun, man.
I was watching Amazon Prime until they stopped having live feed. I didn't go to sleep on Saturday night till like 3:00 in the morning. I was just up. I turned on Sports Center for like the first time I've watched Sports Center like after a Monday night game or something like that because it's just like kind of naturally on. This was the first time I've seeked out Sports Center in probably like 20 years.
Yeah, I know.
I watched it was back to high school. I watched the whole loop.
Yep.
I'm like, I need to watch it. Oh, it was the best.
The other thing that I just want to say is if you're butthurt about the small things after an emotional win like that, Packers fans, any fandom, like that's not the place to put your aggression. That's not the place to put your emotions. Like, yeah, any team that comes back and did what the Chicago Bears did, they're going to be emotional. They're going to have things that are going to be done. Yeah. Is it a personal shot? Of fucking course it is. Yes. That's a rivalry that's going to be there for ages, but also like look internally, your team messed up. They suck. Don't necessarily put it into the small little things that happened after the game. I saw a lot of people and a lot of Packers tears that were talking about, oh my God. The respect of the game, respect of our team. Like you've been dominating us for years.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
The shoes on the other foot.
Stick it where the sun don't shine.
One time of my entire life. So you could sit this one out. It's okay.
Yeah.
Enjoy losing like that, and hopefully get used to it. But man, just take it for one time. This isn't like a bad season for the Packers where they want to fire their coaches. They went to the playoffs.
Right.
Fuck you. Get over it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like if a couple bad words and some cheese graters were offensive to you, I think maybe football is not for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's the amount of people, unsportsmanlike and respect the game and stuff. Yeah. Get the fuck out of here. Nobody cares about that. We're fans. This is what fans do. Also, like, let's not forget half the Packers team and coaching staff was talking about how they wanted the Bears this week, how they couldn't wait to beat the Bears, end the Bears season. one of the players on the Packers, I don't think it was Keyshawn Nixon, but one of their defensive backs was
Yeah, I
like,
saw that.
the Bears didn't do anything. We fucked up. Like, we lost that game. They didn't do anything. And I'm like, all right, buddy.
Yeah.
It's like the most.
Great.
Yeah.
Then you should have won the game.
There you go.
well,
Enjoy vacation, bitch.
We
Like,
did have
just-
more points at the end of the game. So
Yeah.
Bullard.
yeah. Bullard. That's
Okay.
it was Bullard. God,
Eric
Eric,
just
shout out
pointed
Eric.
that out.
He's got it all. He's our fact check guy.
Dude, he is, man.
Tony
reality, dude.
Reality, yes. Stat guy or whatever.
Point,
Yeah.
point. Jay, you said it at the beginning of this too. Like the fact that everyone's so reactionary about firing LaFleur or fire somebody or fire everybody, like that's crazy. That's crazy of me that you have a successful team that went to back-to-back playoffs. We haven't had that in since the early
80s?
2000s, maybe. So like you're looking to fire everybody after this shows me just what an overreactionary fan base you are.
Well,
Crazy.
it's just like they're not used to this. They're not used to it. They're not used to coming out on this end of the Bears-Packers rivalry. I've said this many times this season. The Packers fans don't have the capacity to go through like a 4-win season. If they went through a 4-win season, they would just stop watching football and they wouldn't be fans anymore. Yeah. They don't have it to in Titletown. I like that.
Titletown's
that's
fantastic.
oh my God, they got to put that on a t-shirt.
That's really damn
awesome.
good.
But yeah, honestly, that's exactly how it is. Like they don't have, like, we earned this, Bears fans, we earned this win. We deserve this win. We have spent our entire, like Jay, you just said it. We were born in 87, 88, right as like the Bears were like coming down off of the ultimate high, right into the Wanstead years, right into like we have never seen the Bears. We had one fluke year in 06 where Rex Grossman was like a good quarterback sometimes, and the Bears went to the Super Bowl. Besides that, it's been nothing. And we deserve this sometimes. You can't expect us to not like be excited when our team finally gets over the hill beats the Packers, especially in the playoffs. Like, this is like they can say this is your Super Bowl as like a knock all they want, but yeah, it fucking was my Super Bowl. Yeah. We just won it. Like, I'm
a lot happier than you are right now. I'll guarantee you that. So I don't know, whatever you got to do to get through that.
We won our Super Bowl, and guess what? If we win 2 more games, we get to play for another one. So 2 Super Bowls in 1 year. I don't think the Packers ever done that.
Yeah. Amen, brother. Amen.
God. All right.
Can I just say one last thing before we move on to Caleb? There's no moment that's too big for him, and that's been proven throughout this entire season. But when you can do that in the playoffs, like he is truly Mr. fucking cool. Like I know that some people have knocked him like, oh, he's not engaged enough in that, but like there are moments in these games where you could be an NFL quarterback getting paid $50 million a year. And the moment can be too big for NFL quarterbacks that do this professionally, that are elite quarterbacks in this league, that when push comes to shove, a moment can be too big for them. That doesn't exist for Caleb.
You're talking about Justin Herbert?
Yeah, right. Right. The best quarterback that's never won a playoff game. Like, Justin Herbert's never won a playoff game.
Yeah.
He had really good teams.
Really good player.
Good player.
Yeah. But yeah, he's just
till he plays. Yeah.
Well, in the regular season is really good.
Right. But like,
no,
that's
right.
huge.
Yeah.
There's a guy that is, the moment's never going to be too big for him. And we're going to have him for 15 more years, hopefully. That's really cool.
You'd hope. The mad respect I have for Caleb is he said in his post-game presser and even recently, it just like, we got to get better. We got to get better. This isn't week 2. This isn't week 7. This is the going into the second round of the playoffs of like, yeah, of course. There are a lot of things that had to get better, and you're not it sounded like it was an unpolished team looking to finish off the season. Like, he's talking still about things that like we don't see and communication that doesn't happen, and the peak that we've yet to see with this team that I'm so encouraged by. I mean, man, I like to see that out of QB1. but even more like I like to see that out of somebody on this team when you were bad. There's accountability somewhere.
Yeah. No, great point, Drew. Honestly, a lot of the knock, especially with the Caleb haters, even earlier in this year from myself, I'll take accountability for what I've said in the past as well, is you want to see more fire, more passion for the game. I mean, there was I don't recall exactly in the game, but I've seen it all over social media and whatnot, and some of the replays and some of the lip reading and kind of seeing what Caleb was saying when he was talking to his wide receiver group and saying, you got to get fucking deeper. You got to get deeper. If you get deeper, I can hit the lower guy in the flat. We got to get better at that. And that was mid-game. And that's passion. That's coaching mid-game. And that's kind of stuff that's like, this guy, if people think that this guy doesn't care, you're out of your fucking mind.
Can I be honest with when I saw that stuff, I'm thinking I see Tom Brady. Like I do.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Caleb's going to win 7 Super Bowls or whatever, hopefully, but like that's the kind of shit that Tom Brady would do on the sideline. You would see him getting like vocal, like loud altercations with his wide receivers, with his coaches, like the time, because he knew what needed to be done and he had opinions on things and he was a fiery competitor. Obviously, cooler heads always prevailed. And I hope, and that seems to be the case with Caleb, because he's always so level-headed, like after the games and stuff when he talks. But seeing a little fire out of him, I loved it. I love seeing that. As long as he's not like going at people and like point the finger saying like, you did this, or like you suck or whatever. Like, as long as he's saying like, no, you have to do this better. I love that. Like,
and it wasn't attacking, it was coaching and it was leading,
Yes,
and that's what your quarterback's supposed to do. And those are those intangibles that people were knocking Caleb for not having.
Yeah. It's crazy to think that at the beginning of the season, there were people saying, and I mean, I was a defender of Caleb, but there was a lot of criticism that's saying like, if Caleb doesn't do it this year, he's a bust. They were throwing the bust word out there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody, again, has he played like a perfect game? Maybe the Cowboys game was pretty good. The 49ers game, he played really well. But besides that, like he played a perfect game every game? No, he's not. No moment's too big. The Bears are never out of it. I saw a lot of people saying that they were bummed the Eagles lost this weekend because they wanted to play the Eagles and avoid the Rams. But I don't think anybody in these playoffs are going to blow the Bears out. I think the Bears are going to have a shot in every game that's any team. So
it's probably overconfidence on my part, but at this point, it's like, hey, if you're going to go to the Super Bowl, you're going to play some damn good teams,
right?
So just take what's there and get after it.
Yeah.
Not even worried about the matchups. Just play ball.
Everyone's favoring Seattle at this point, so you'd probably have to go through them. It's the best team out there. So what if you have to go through a tier lower than them? Yeah.
No, for sure. So more about that Rams at Bears game. Time has been confirmed, 5:30 next Sunday. This Sunday. We'll talk about more on our Thursday night, Friday show. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for Bear stuff. Is that anything else?
I think
nope.
I'm out of juice.
Yeah,
that was great. Great discussion. I really loved it.
Just a cool, passionate hour and a half Bears talk. I fucking love it. Cool. All right. Well, there were 5 other games this weekend, and actually, they're all over now. The games are completed, and I think I wasn't watching, but I assume the Texans won by more than 3 points. Yes.
Yo, baby.
Yeah. So that's good news. Good news. All right. Anyway, so Jay, why don't you take us around the league?
Absolutely. It was really a fun wild card weekend around the league. Like all of these games, I think at least the first 4 of them, and then it kind of fizzled out a little bit. We'll get to those games a little bit later, but the first 4 games, everything came down to the last possession. It was exactly what the NFL wanted, exactly what the fans wanted as well. Hopefully someone played Carolina plus 10.5, because that game was really close, and an amazing Matt Stafford, final drive getting into the end zone. Rams come away 34-31. I think the big news out of that game, other than the Rams just barely scraping by for a win at Carolina, is going to be the status of Matt Stafford's hand and his throwing hand and his throwing finger. Jammed his index finger. Hopefully hurt, pretty badly.
Yeah.
Given that's our next matchup.
Cut it off. Cut it off.
Yeah, cut it off, amputate it, leprosy, throw them on an island, all that good shit. But I mean, the Rams did kind of prove that they can got a little bit. I was surprised to see that just the entirety of that game. The Carolina offense putting up 31 points. I think the story of the game, though, is like, can anyone stop the Rams offense with Puka and Devontae healthy in that run game and the coaching staff being unbelievable? It's going to be a hell of a matchup. I'm not going to get into the preview of the matchup. We'll save that for next week. But it was both scary and nice at the same time to say, okay, I don't know if the Bears defense against this Rams offense is going to be able to stop anything. I don't know what the game plan is there. Hopefully someone can get creative and we can get 3 turnovers that game. But it was also nice to see the Rams defense getting put up numbers from Bryce Young. So did you guys watch that game in its entirety? Admittedly, I missed the full second quarter of the game. Anything stand out to you guys that's noteworthy that should be discussed?
Well, knowing that they had just played each other, 4 or 5 weeks previous to that, maybe it was 6. To see that the Panthers, a team that was sub 500, could do the same sort of things to that Rams defense, like you were saying, Jay, is encouraging. That the scoring is out there. I think it was more of that the game plan was kind of let LA get out in front and we'll come from behind, which actually favors the Bears. That did Carolina away at the end of it, but I like the Carolina Panthers. Not more than just like saying like I wish they would keep going on and winning so we could play them, but I think they actually have some things behind them. Bryce Young is doing a little bit better than his original rookie season. Matthew Stafford's just the problem. He's always going to be the problem with his weapons that he has. 2 running backs in Kyron Williams and who's the other one? Michigan running back.
Blake Corum.
Yeah, Blake Corum. That's a problem. But I can see any matchup in the West other than Seattle just being an absolute shootout that you'd have to play against.
Yeah. Well, that's inevitable. The Bears win this one against the Rams, NFC West. If they move on, guess who they're playing? Another NFC West team. It's the NFC West and the Bears. That's who's left over. Nick, did you have anything that you wanted to add on Rams Panthers?
The only thing I want to add is just that I was really impressed watching Bryce Young in this game. I thought that he showed a lot of poise. I thought that some of the throw that he made to take the lead in the fourth quarter was a really, really good throw. Like it was I haven't watched a ton of Panthers games, but I've seen them on Red Zone, and I haven't seen a throw with that much anticipation, that much accuracy, that much touch by Bryce Young this season in that clutch of a moment, obviously. So I was really impressed with that. I was really impressed to see him take off and run for a touchdown right before the half. I agree with Drew. I think the Panthers, the arrow's up on the Panthers. I think, as long as Todd Bowles is the coach of the Bucs, the arrow's down on them. And so I think, the Panthers have to be the favorites going into next year in that division, and hopefully, and I don't think they'll have a losing record. I think they're going to be a solid team, but everyone expected the Rams to kill the Panthers. The Rams are a very good team. They showed that they're a really good team. Their defense showed they have some weaknesses, and I know Ben Johnson is going to watch that film and the film of the Panthers the first time they played the Rams, and any game that the Rams played where their defense got exploited, and he's going to find a way to exploit that himself. So
yeah. The coaching matchup, McVay and Ben Johnson, is going to be like a Stranger Things. I don't know, 11 in another Vecna going at it. I don't know. Terrible analogy. We'll move on. We're going to stay in the NFC West here because the 49ers took down the defending Super Bowl champs in the Eagles. I'm not even going to put my 2 cents on this because I'll get so fired up about Sirianni. Nick, let me kick it over to you. Assuredly, you watched the game. What did you think about that?
Yeah, I did watch the game, and yeah, Nick Sirianni, man, that guy, he is to put it mildly, he's a loose cannon on the sidelines. Like he doesn't have control over himself on the sidelines. AJ Brown, who is he's like a pretty notoriously not great teammate. So I'm not going to sit here and say AJ Brown is always a victim, but to be a coach and to go up and
antagonize,
scream in the face of one of the best players on your team. And it wasn't even like he did something. I think he was saying get off the field, right? Isn't that what he was? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what was going on there. Obviously, there's some turmoil in the locker room of the Eagles, and I would imagine AJ Brown is probably at the middle of it. And I would imagine that a lot of feelings about Nick Sirianni are also at the middle of it.
Yeah.
I also don't know if you saw this or not, but I saw this today. There's a clip of Jalen Hurts talking to their offensive coordinator, Joe Patullo, I think his name is something Patullo. And it's during the timeout right before that fourth down play where they're telling Jalen Hurts what the play is. And Jalen Hurts looks at him cross-eyed almost because, and I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but God, I fucking just talked about this guy last week. I can't remember his name. He used to play on the Lions. He ran out of bounds in the safety. He's a commentator now.
Damn
You
it.
know what I'm talking about.
Yes, I hate the guy.
His goddamn name. I can't believe I'm blanking on his name right now.
We're all three. Dan Orlovsky.
Dan Orlovsky. He was on Get Up or some morning ESPN show today talking about that game, at least the clip that I saw. The Eagles ran 10 plays in that last drive. 10 plays in that last drive. 4 plays were run. They were identical plays, same formation, same exact play. They ran some
football coach.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys are familiar with what a mesh concept is. If you ever play Madden or college football, it's a very common play where you have a tight end and a slot receiver, and they basically just run crossers an X right at each other. Yeah. It's a man beater, right? You're trying to get them to kind of either clip each other or just you're trying to get your slot guy match up and right, yeah. Exactly. And they're running it against clear zone defense, and it's just what are we Orlovsky even said this is high school football.
Yeah.
This is not NFL play calling. And that's exactly what they did on the fourth down. They ran 4 verts on 4th and 11.
He's playing against blitz
against a cover 4. You just you're not giving your team a chance. So my takeaway from this is that Sirianni, he is only as good as the offensive coordinator that he has on his team.
Exactly, Nick.
I mean, you can even say he's as good as all of his coordinators because he's got I'm so tired.
Fangio?
He's got Vic Fangio as his DC. So the defense is good. In his offensive coordinator, if he doesn't have a good offensive coordinator, the offense sucks. And there's nothing he can do about it. And he's just if you have a coach who relies exclusively on coordinators to do everything, you're not a good coach.
Yeah.
What do you do? He's not good. He's not a good game manager. He's not good at keeping his composure and rallying the troops. The team fucking hates his guts. Clearly, from a person who doesn't watch a lot of Eagles games, hates him. So I don't know what he's doing there.
Yeah.
Well, you won the Super Bowl last year. That's the reason why. It's crazy in my mind that you're talking about. We're all talking about him being out of a job, but he's also an asshole. He's just straight up an asshole of a person. Yeah. Doesn't care for the people that are around him. Doesn't care about seemingly the organization. He just does what he wants. It's a New Jersey person.
Yeah, he's a chump.
As that.
Yep. Nope. Enough said. Right. That's a good way to put it. So I was very thrilled to see the 49ers win that game. I was rooting for them, betting on them. Is the anti-Sirianni play, and it paid out, which is good. So I'm happy to see the 49ers. Unfortunately, Greg, I can't get any names right. I don't know what's going on. George Kittle tore his Achilles, and so that's going to be a tough one to overcome for them. You could even see it in Tonjes and their backup. They're just so thin at wide receiver and anyone that can catch the ball other than Christian McCaffrey. But hey, they're going to take on the Seahawks in Seattle, another NFC West showdown, another great game. Bills, Jacksonville. Absolute nail biter. Flip a coin in this one. That's exactly what the outcome really was.
Yeah.
I was excited to see the Bills win. Not because I did put a peso or two on the Bills. I just like to see elite quarterbacks kind of move on. And for some reason, I'm always kind of rooting for Josh Allen. I like the grit that he has. But that was a great game. I think we kind of both called that out. Whoever's winning that game is going to be a dark horse to advance very far in these playoffs. Drew, did you have a chance to watch that game?
Yeah. I mean, Josh Allen is going to get hit in every single way over the next 3 weeks if he survives. Like, you're going against Denver next, but Jacksonville laid it to him, and this guy's not going to not finish an NFL football game while he's out there, and that brings a lot of faith in his teammates behind him. It brings a lot of positivity in Buffalo, which they haven't had in the past, in luck and success in the playoffs. And it saved Sean McDermott's job for probably another year.
Unfortunately, I think you got to get McDermott to help. I mean, he's not going to. They have success, but you're right on, Drew.
Yeah. So, we're all Josh Allen fans here, and I think right now the state of the AFC is kind of just a crapshoot. I don't think the top 2 seeds are anything to really, really extremely write home about. So, Josh Allen, you go into your next 2 games as not a favorite, but the potential to win those games. And yeah, that's what we want to see.
Yeah, 100%. Nick, any take on that game?
Yeah, I mean, I actually bet on Jacksonville in this game because I thought that try to outsmart myself and said, I bet you a lot of people are betting on the Bills because of Josh Allen. I think Jacksonville might actually be better. But at the end of the day, it was a coin flip, and it was a good game. It was fun to watch. But yeah, Jay, like you said, I was root for Josh Allen. I always root for the Bills. I feel like we're kind of kindred spirits, like Bears fans, Bills fans. So like I always root for them a little bit. Especially like, obviously when the Bears are out of the playoffs with a 5-win record, you always got to pick your favorite non-Bears team. Bills are usually one of them for me. So, I like watching the Bills. They will definitely be my my AFC team. I don't really care much for the Broncos or the Patriots, and God, the Texans are just not a fun team to watch. So I like the Bills, and I'm excited that they're still playing.
Yeah. I saw someone post something on Instagram or something like that with a little bit of Josh Allen hate of not, maybe hate's a strong word, but what they said was, wouldn't it make sense if Josh Allen, this was the year they won the Super Bowl with Mahomes and Burrow and Lamar out of the playoffs? And my immediate thought was, well, they're not in the playoffs. So like, he's already got a leg up on them. Like they already proved that those other 3 teams don't belong. Those other 3 quarterbacks don't belong this year. So that's an invalid argument.
Yeah.
By a mile.
You win a Super Bowl. You win a Super Bowl. It doesn't matter how you get there, who you play. Like, you win a Super Bowl. That doesn't fucking matter.
It's probably a Chiefs fans doing
they made
it
themselves not an obstacle.
Yeah, exactly, Drew. Exactly.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Like if anything, playing the Chiefs or the Ravens would make their path easier this year. You know what I mean? Like that's
true.
A backwards argument. Like it's stupid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
One last thing on Josh Allen too. I texted you guys this. I was like, Josh Allen's getting destroyed. He went in the blue tent early in the game, concussion, banged his hand against a helmet, had his knee almost chopped off. And like you were saying, Drew, I think you did say it immediately in the response, like, there's no way he's not finishing this game unless he's dead. And that's what you want. And that's why I think we collectively, people in general, kind of take the Josh Allen, the Bills. There's a grittiness to it that kind of embodies football and what it's all about. Much like Trapillo when he was walking off, right?
Yeah.
So that was super cool.
He said the same thing to his locker room too that Caleb said to his locker room. He said to the guys, that's one. I don't care. There's another 3 that we got to get. So next one, let's go. I'm there for you. You're there for me. Let's go. So those are the guys you're going to rally behind and say, I'll fight for you.
My cousin Duncan texted me over the weekend too, said, I mean, how crazy would it be for the NFL to get Bills, Bears, just two fan bases just couldn't be hungrier for a Super Bowl? It'd be an absolute blast. Well, let's move on to the Patriots. The Patriots versus the Chargers. Patriots were -3.5. Absolute dumpster of a game. 16-3 final. I mean, just brutal. Drew, you kind of touched on it. Justin Herbert just decided not to really show up for the game. Any thoughts? Beautiful Sunday night football game. That's what I was saying. Put the Bears and Packers on Sunday night football. Whatever, it's fine.
I don't think I could go to work today after a Bears.
No. No, it was best that it was on Saturday because I ended up getting absolutely ripped.
I'm sorry, because I think I jinxed not only the games, the nighttime games, but you guys both and our bets in total of saying like, oh my God, I can't get any better. Like these games are awesome. And watch, we're going to get two absolute stinkers. What do we get? We got two absolute stinkers of games that followed behind that.
Yeah.
That showed me more that I can't. Yes, the Chargers banged up. Jay, you talked about it a ton in the preview show of the Los Angeles Chargers. Their offensive line is just absolute dog water, and like you're very concerned about all of that. Oh my God, Justin Herbert looked like he was going to end the game in a fucking coffin.
Yeah,
it's the way that he was getting rushed.
Oh my God,
he was getting murdered.
It also showed me like I know defense travels in the Chargers, but like that Patriots offense isn't ungodly. Like a lot of people have been speaking about it, and I know they haven't had a ton of huge good opposition this year, but like I'm not crowning Drake May. He didn't make unbelievable passes. There were one or two that were out there that an NFL quarterback should make, but I don't see the Patriots as like that team yet.
Yeah. I agree with you, Drew. On the flip side, I think some people can take away from that game, hey, Drake May had an off game. They still won somewhat comfortably, which whatever. I don't know what side I'm on, but I think there can be two sides of that coin. I agree with you, though, right? I'm not ready to crown Drake May either. We'll see. Well, one thing I do know is when going into the preseason after the last season, when we were talking about which coaches we wanted to coach the Bears, it was Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel. And I think we hit that one out of the park. I think those were two absolute fantastic. They are two of the best coaches in the NFL. And so God bless the Patriots for getting Vrabel back in the NFL. It's fun to see him on the sideline. I do love watching him coach, man. It's very therapeutical for some reason. It just is. He's a guy that should be a football coach. You know what I mean?
I don't know if this game was such a miserable watch, and I would not have blamed either of you guys for logging off a little bit earlier that game. But at the end of the game, the Chargers, they had the ball. They were driving a little bit, but like it was basically the end of the like they would have had to have everything go right. Anyway, Justin Herbert got sacked, strip sacked, lost the ball. It was basically the end of the game. The defensive player that sacked him and stripped the ball, went up to Vrabel and like gave him a big hug, and he just he accidentally headbutted Vrabel like in the lip, and Vrabel started like bleeding out of his lip, and it was really funny. Just like Collinsworth was like kind of giving like a play-by-play. It was actually pretty funny. I don't know. It was good. I liked it. So, but yeah, you're right. Vrabel, football guy, belongs in the playoffs, belongs coaching football. But Drew, I agree with you. The Patriots, I mean, the Chargers are a good team, good defense. So, this is probably the best defense they've seen all year. So they didn't blow me away, but they got another good defense next week. So we'll see what they look like. But yeah, that's all I got for this game.
Yeah. I guess we'll run it on a complete dud with the Monday Night Football game that just occurred. Houston at Pittsburgh. If you didn't take Texans -3, shame on you. I mean, that was just, I don't know what we're doing there. And the Houston offense didn't even do anything terribly special. They ran the ball well. CJ Stroud's bad. He fumbled the ball 4 times in the first half.
It's not good.
Through probably I can't say it's the stupidest interception I've seen. I've seen a lot of bad ones, but I mean, a really dumb interception in the red zone. in the second half. It is like all you need to
It's
do
a
is
tie
just put-
game.
yeah,
Mhm.
just
Or they might have been down.
get a field goal. Nick, you called it right on the spot too. You're like, you just get another field goal. The Steelers aren't scoring another point this game, and they didn't. And they didn't score another point that game. But 2 defensive touchdowns by the Texans opened that game wide up, and the rest is history. So the Steelers are out. Hang him up, Aaron Rodgers. He looked every bit of 42
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah,
every
he
bit of
did.
42. So
He did.
it's
I
nice
didn't.
to see.
There were some hits where I didn't think he was going to get up from.
Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't have gotten up from them.
No.
I'm so sick and tired of him getting touched or even hit or even grazed by and then looking at or yelling at one of his teammates.
He's
Just
the worst.
be done. You're done.
I'll
You're
tell you
done,
one
son.
thing I'm not sick of is, Aaron Rodgers has a comically large helmet. He always has. So when he gets sacked, the way the helmet gets like rearranged on his face every time, that makes me laugh every time. So I'm happy to see that.
Absolutely. Well, that'll do it for Around the League. Drew, I'm going to kick it back over to you. You got some divisional round matchups and times, I believe, and some more coaching carousel stuff. And I'm going to go grab a glass of water. So cover for me.
You do it. Just a quick rundown of the divisional matchups. We'll run through that for what to look for everybody. We've got Bills at Broncos, 4:30 on Saturday night. Niners at Seahawks in a rematch of the final week of the season, 7:00. I'm looking forward to that matchup most of all, other than any other matchup than the Rams and Bears.
Yep.
Then we've got Sunday, obviously Texans Patriots should be a decent game.
I think my prediction for that game is it's going to be like a close game, but it's not going to be a fun game to watch. It's gonna be a lot of
exactly
defense.
a slag.
Yeah.
You're waiting for to get to Sunday night, which is your marquee matchup of the Rams and Bears, 5:30 Central Time.
Yeah,
I'm glad they're moving those up. Definitely the Sundays. That's great. I think a little bit has to do with probably the national championship being on Monday night. That following Monday night is they want people. I don't know. That's a hand grasp right there.
I think they always do this when they have like 2 games left. I think they try and stagger it a little bit more so it's not going to be so late.
Yeah, deep in the night,
which rocks because I don't want to be up till 11:00 watching this Bears game on a Sunday night and go to work like 12 hours after a heart attack. Like I don't need that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be cold on Sunday, by the way. I don't know if you saw that. It's going to be cold in Chicago.
We'll talk about it.
We'll tease that next week with some great statistics.
Okay, really quick. We got into Black Monday on our review show of last week. We missed a couple because obviously a couple came a little bit late. The marquee one of coaching firings, which is crazy to me, but I think it was just needed a change somewhere, is John Harbaugh. John Harbaugh.
Yep,
John Harbaugh got fired from the Baltimore Ravens, and he's obviously shopping a little bit, waiting for the playoffs. Probably a couple of teams that could have opened up here or there, might. Where do you guys, just really quickly, where do you guys foresee, Jason, I'm going to start with you, John Harbaugh ending up in the offseason?
Who? I think it's either the New York Giants or the Green Bay Packers. I think, and I guess I'll rewind the clock even a little bit. Not rewind the clock, but I'll take a little tangent here. I am confused to see people debating whether or not John Harbaugh would be a good coach anywhere in the league. I think this guy is one of the better coaches in the history of the NFL, and he immediately makes the team that he goes to better. I don't think there's a team on this slate of open coaches. And if you're the Packers, I think it's silly to fire LaFleur unless the only if there is if you're doing it knowing that you're going to land John Harbaugh, in my opinion. So, but I think he'll ultimately end up with the Giants personally.
What about you, Nick? What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of in this weird camp where like I think John Harbaugh, if he was to end up, so the Ravens have this. They have this kind of tradition of they have a very well run organization, right? They had the same GM for a long time. They've had a pretty steadily like good team for the last like 25 years. The Ravens are just a really well run organization. They might not have, the most Super Bowls or anything like that, but they are, I'd say, probably one of the top 5 like best run organizations in the NFL. Just from like owner to GM to coach to players, like they just usually have a pretty solid group. And I do think that John Harbaugh benefited from that. I think if John Harbaugh goes to a Giants, goes to a Titans, goes to a Raiders, I think he's going to find that he had it pretty good in Baltimore, and it's not going to be as easy as it was in Baltimore. With the only caveat being the Packers are also a pretty traditionally well-run organization. That could be a good match. I do think if John Harbaugh, I do fully expect LaFleur to be extended in Green Bay. I don't think that he's going to get fired. So I do think John Harbaugh is going to struggle because he's not an offensive like guru. He's not a defensive guy. Remember, he came up as a special teams coordinator. So he's a good culture guy, which is important, but you do have to have scheme as well. I don't know, so where do I see him going? I mean, I think the Giants is probably a good bet. It sounds crazy, but like, I think the Titans are actually not a crazy bet. I think Cam Ward showed enough at the end of the year to be like, this guy could be a future player, and I think they have a lot of draft picks. Raiders, they have the number 1 pick, you're going to get Mendoza. So that could, I don't know, who knows, but I do think he's going to struggle if he goes to one of those like traditionally like not good teams like the Giants or like the Raiders or like the Titans though.
Yeah. No, all makes sense.
It does.
I want to see him in the Raiders. I do. I want to see him flip that team around, get back to the grittiness. Although, give us Max Crosby, please.
I don't think the Raiders can afford John Harbaugh.
Yeah, that might be the truth. Number 1 truth.
Yeah.
Couple other. So obviously, cocaine kingpin is gone. Mike McDaniel. Will he find another head coaching job? More than likely not.
I actually heard that he already he's interviewing for the Lions OC job, which is terrifying.
Really?
Because he's not a good head coach, but he is a good OC. And
he's a great OC.
Yeah.
That is my prediction. And that terrifies me, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
him and Dan Quinn have some connections, and the Commanders did fire Cliff Kingsbury as their OC, so there might be a Commanders opening for him. That might be enticing for him. I really hope he goes that route because the Lions had a bad year, but I do think a good offensive coordinator. I called this out a few weeks ago. I thought one of the reasons their downfall was because, Dan Campbell had to start calling plays, and that's not his job. He's not an offensive coordinator. And I think that if they get a good offensive coordinator, the Lions are just a very dangerous team moving forward. Regardless, the Lions are a dangerous team, but that would be scary to me.
Yeah, that is. I didn't realize that Washington fired Cliff Kingsbury, which is seemingly unfair in my mind. Just looking at it, an unfair thing when you didn't have your main quarterback for half the season. But
he is a douche. Remember when people were like saying that the Bears should have hired Cliff Kingsbury and the Caleb connection and.
He'll find another.
That was like the one guy that's like, if Cliff Kingsbury's the coach of the Bears, I'm going to be really upset.
That was it. I remember we were talking about it. That was like the one guy. It can't be Cliff Kingsbury, and it wasn't. And now he doesn't have a job.
Yeah, go figure.
Go figure.
Yeah, and the other two to watch, we've already touched on is we're just going to watch LaFleur. We're going to watch Sirianni. I think McDermott saved his job, or Josh Allen saved his job for at least another year. Although Matt LaFleur, I think, is meeting with the Packers brass and policy this week to restructure his contract, which that should happen. So
yeah.
Any other coaching things that you guys saw?
Nothing crazy, but some of the interviews that have already taken place with some people that are just, it's like, what? I don't know if you say, like, we'll go into that more next week. I have it planned to do a little bit more of a fun little coaching section or something like that later down the road. But there's some names on there that you guys would laugh at if you've seen, like, the Dolphins are having interviews with people already. It's like, okay, well, that's why you guys are going to suck for a long time. Like, what are you even bringing this guy in the building for?
Oh man, I know they were vying hard for Marcus Freeman, but Marcus Freeman going nowhere, and is on the police radar right now. But
no, Notre Dame throwing a lot of money at that to go away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it up with the podium list really quick here. Barely qualified podium list is proudly fueled by the fizz of Glen Rock Pop, Lake County's legendary soda revival, crafted with pure cane sugar, poured into glass bottles, and bursting with nostalgic flavor. Glen Rock is more than just a drink. It's a hometown icon. Whether you're sipping on orange cream soda or Nick's personal favorite, the all-new lime, Glen Rock is bringing the joy back to every corner of Lake County. Want to catch their pop-up trailer in action? Follow Glen Rock Pop on Facebook for the latest event stops. Ready to stock up? Head to glenrockpop.com to find retailers near you. From tailgates to game days, Glen Rock Pop is the ultimate sideline sip. Don't just drink, celebrate. All right, so we're talking, the topic this week is all-time Chicago greatest sports comebacks. Or you could throw out any other comeback out there. I'll just open that way up. I know there was probably a little bit more research done towards sports, but if you have something specific towards any other topic in Chicago or Illinois in general, go for it. We're going to do, as always, in the podium list, we're going with a 1-2-3 in the gold, 2-3-1 in the silver, 3-2-1 order in the bronze. I did change this up a little bit because I randomized. I was in the old order, but I got first. Jay's got second. Nick's got third. And yes, boys, you can take Saturday's game if you so choose.
All right.
I am going to go a different route, and obviously I've got to go with one that's very, very close, near and dear to Nick and I's hearts, of the 2016 Chicago Cubs.
Yep.
It's the only one that right now I can count as that number one in my heart and mind, breaking that curse, coming back from 3-1 against the Cleveland Indians. I'm not calling them the Guardians ever again. But yeah, that's what I'm taking as my 101.
Yeah, Drew, that was the pick. That was my number one as well. I think that had to be the number one pick. If Jay got it, probably not. But in terms of me or you, yeah. So I agree with you. That was number one for me, and great pick.
Yeah. All right, Jay, you got second pick. So what do you got?
Okay, I'm gonna go Hockey Town in 2013. Blackhawks Bruins Game 6, Stanley Cup. Minute 17 left.
Yep.
2 goals in 17 seconds. Taze Kaner was everything that you could have wanted. I remember, I'll never forget where I was. Fat, poor downtown. Place was going absolutely nuts. Getting carried around on shoulders, thrown up in the air. Like, it was just absolutely phenomenal. No one went to work the next day. It was awesome. Again, not the biggest hockey guy. I'll be the first to admit it, but when that 2010 through 2015 dynasty was coming through town, it was such a blast. And it was such, our early 20s, we're going out, we're having fun. That was fantastic. To win the cup in that fashion too was unbelievable. So maybe a surprise pick, given that I'm not the biggest hockey fan, but that was one of the cooler sports moments that I've ever experienced.
I was a little surprised, but it fits right in here, and I think that's a perfect spot for it. That was awesome. That was absolutely awesome.
It was.
All right. So for my gold pick, I think I'm gonna stay away from the game that just happened 48 hours ago, but I am gonna take a Bears game. I'm gonna take they are who they thought they were. Bears Cardinals Monday night game. I love watching the highlights of this game. I still do. It was, freshman year college, Jamie and you, Jamie Ensley, we watched this together in your guys' dorm room. We went around and we're waving like a Bears. I don't think it was a flag. It was like a jersey or something like that around the streets of Milwaukee. And it was just, that was a magical year. That was like kind of that game was like the whole season in a nutshell. It was so much fun. That defense was awesome. Devin Hester was my favorite player of all time. Just all-time great game. That was the first Bears game that popped into my head.
Yeah, slam dunk and a great pick. I think these are great gold. I mean, I think these are the right picks to have up there. The biggest comeback in Bears history, down 20.
Yeah, biggest deficit.
Yep.
No offensive points.
Unbelievable.
Not a one.
No,
I think Rex threw 4 or 5 picks in that game.
4 or 5.
It was a lot.
Yeah, it was 4 or 5.
Yeah.
God.
Yep. The old golden sombrero, if not the platinum one.
Can you ever go back to that locker room and be like, yeah,
we did it, boys.
We did it. We did it.
Hell yeah, boys. Let's go.
Yeah, man.
group hug in the showers tonight.
It also did. I mean, it also generated one of the greatest quotes in Chicago sports history too. So you gotta love it.
Gotta love it.
All right,
okay.
Going into silver. What do you got, Jay?
So this is an interesting one. If this is invalidated because it's not specifically Chicago, it is Illinois. Does that count?
Do it. You didn't do it.
You're doing it. That was gonna be my next pick, but go for it.
Okay. Illini, Arizona, Sweet 16, 2005. Everything about that game was fantastic. The way that I experienced it, Drew, I was with you. It was your birthday, I believe, at the United Center for a Bulls game. The way that game was experienced was absolutely second to none. The Bulls game was going on while we're at Drew's 16th, 17th birthday, whatever that was, 17th birthday probably, and we were just running around the stadium looking. We went into a gift shop to watch the end of the game. What was it? Illini down 15 with 4 or 5 to go.
Yeah, 4 minutes to go. They're down 15.
I could almost. I mean, I can't do it, but there was a time when I could read you off the play-by-play box score of the Luther Head, the D Brown, the Darren Williams, the threes, the steals, the everything that was happening there.
Yep.
And I had never, and again, this is, when you're in high school, in middle school, it's a kind of, it's when you're really understanding sports and you think, but you've still never seen things in sports. And I'd never seen anything like that. I was such a big Illini fan. I'm sure all of us were, but that was my team. And I would watch every Illini basketball game, normally with my dad. And that just was insane. And obviously, a magical run. They went to the national championship game, came up short, but that team, I still can get goosebumps just thinking about that team and everything about it. So the clock hit 0. Andrew Nicholas, me, Drew, whoever else was there, running around the United Center, shirtless, just screaming, high-fiving, chest bumping, whoever wanted to get involved with it. It was like such a core memory that I have to this day that I'll never forget. And I loved it. And that's what sports are all about, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's a absolute slam dunk pick. I still use this game as my benchmark. Like if you're within 15 with 4 minutes left, that's like, okay, there's a chance.
Yep.
If it's like more than that with 4 minutes left, it's like, okay, I've never seen this, so probably not. Like that's literally like, that's the borderline of realistic possibility versus absolutely impossible.
Yep.
Because that's the best I've ever seen. To this day, that's my benchmark.
The only one that comes close was Marquette, first round. I want to say 2013 against
Davidson?
Belmont. Davidson. Nope, you're right. It was Davidson.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. That was a crazy one. But outside of our containment of Illinois or Chicago adjacent ish.
Such a good one. Such good memories. God. All right. What do you got, Nick?
Oh man. Okay. That was an awesome one. I definitely thought I would get that in the second round. Or the silver round. That's why I didn't take it in the gold, but that's okay. I'm glad we got to talk about it. Okay. So My man, I'm gonna take. I'm actually also gonna go Blackhawks. This is a series deficit, but in 2013, that same season Jay referenced, the Blackhawks were down 3-1 to the Red Wings in the second round.
Oh, hell yeah.
Not only is that hated rivals Detroit Red Wings, but it's also the last playoff matchup that the Blackhawks have ever had with the Red Wings because they're in the Eastern Conference now. Obviously, they can meet up in the Stanley Cup maybe someday, but that was the last. And the Hawks were huge favorites. They were down 3-1, and I'll still to this day, like the loudest fan like reaction pop I've ever heard is when Brent Seabrook got that goal in overtime in Game 7 of that game. Place went fucking crazy. I wasn't there, but I remember like that watching on TV, just getting goosebumps, like watching the people react to that. It was awesome. So yeah, I'll take that. That was that one that popped into my head pretty quick.
Yeah, Hawks had some nasty games in 2013, and that was right the peak of our drinking, partying, having fun age, and that was a good times to be had all around.
You know, young to mid 20s is just insane. We were kind of blessed by the timing of that Blackhawks dynasty.
That Blackhawks dynasty was perfect timing. And also like it just kind of showed it. Like I like you guys like was not a huge Hawks fan growing up because one, they were dog shit
blacked out.
But you couldn't watch them, kind of like now. But you couldn't watch them. And they made them relevant. They were everywhere. Like it was like the Blackhawks, like it's hard to describe how important the Blackhawks were for those 5 years. You know, like they were so top of mind all the time. Appointment television every day. It was the best.
Yep. I was in a fantasy hockey league for a couple of years. Like
what
am I? Yeah. Like because it was just ride the wave, dude.
No,
ride
for
the wave.
Yeah.
Gosh. All right. I'm gonna take a Bears game, not the most recent. I know we're shying away from that, but if we all run out of each other's picks, we might just have to fall to it sooner rather than later. But
game of chicken.
I am going with a real throwback, and I think I've watched it more in the last 2 or 3 years than I have when it originally happened in 2001. I'm going the Bears versus the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, so good.
Yes. The comeback in the fourth quarter, scoring 14. I mean, they were down 21-7 with 3 minutes left to go in this game. And Marty Booker, a James Allen, and
shout out James Allen.
Yeah. And then a Mike Brown in overtime interception return for touchdown. Like,
which was, by the way, Mike Brown's second consecutive walk-off pick six.
Back to back game. No?
Yeah, it was the week before that was the 49ers game. Yeah.
Those Bears defenses in those, even those Dick Duran.
Was Dick Duran. Yeah.
God, loved Mike Brown when he was doing his thing. That game I've seen again on highlights more in the past 2 or 3 years in just Bears like lore than any other, but that was I do now remember it in my feels being in high school of like how'd they win that game. That might have been a game where I went to bed and then woke up and it's like what the hell happened here. But yeah, great game.
That was a great game. Yeah. I remember actually that game. I don't know why, but like I have this very vivid memory of my parents not being home, and I was just like home watching that game and just like going absolutely crazy in my family room, like watching that on our tiny little like tube TV in 2001.
Yeah.
In the corner. It's like we had it in like one of those like cabinets you could like close the doors.
Yes. Oh God, dude, I'm getting nostalgic.
Having very vivid memories of that. But anyway, for bronze, I'm going to take a Cubs game. This isn't probably the most marquee one, but it's just I like the way that it ended, and it's just really, really cool to me. So I'm going to take a 2018 Cubs Nationals regular season game. Cubs are down 3 in the 9th inning. David Bodie hits a walk-off grand slam down 3. I think that's fucking cool when you hit a walk-off grand slam down 3. It's just like, that's like what you're playing in your backyard with your friend. That's like that's what you're thinking. So it rocks. It was a regular season game, non-consequential, but still very fucking cool. It was like on like 4th of July or Memorial Day or something like that. So it was like a pretty big game. Like it might have been, I think it was like an ESPN Sunday Night Baseball too. It was just a really cool thing. So yeah, I'll take David Bodie hitting
Santa Maria. How could you not?
Yeah, that's right. Yes.
Mm-hmm. How could you not want to have a walk-off grand slam in your back pocket? David Bodie not quite ever panning out to be what we hoped him to be, but
he had that.
Yeah, he had
He
that.
did.
He had it for sure. Oh boy, I had 2 left, and you guys took them both. Oh man, I guess I got to go with the Bulls comeback. I'm going with the 92 Paxson.
Okay.
The 92 Paxson shot. They were down only by like 8, and came back and won that game in Game 6, but still a very big moment in Bulls history and a back-to-back that they'll take. So I'm going with that. Just basic, simple.
You talking Trailblazers?
No,
Yeah.
he's talking
No.
93. It was 93.
Oh, 93. Okay.
It was Lakers, Trailblazers, Suns. So it was 93.
No, it was Blazers.
Paxson hitting the game-winning shot. That was 100% the Suns in 93.
92 against the Trailblazers. Bulls were down 15 going to the 4th and came back.
Oh, is that what you're talking about?
Paxson hit a shot in that. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about like Paxson hitting the 3 to like win the series.
No, not the shot.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
true. The one you're talking about, Bulls down. They were down 15 going to the 4th.
Mm-hmm.
And Phil Jackson just benched all of his starters except for Scottie Pippen to start the 4th quarter, and then they just fucking rallied back. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes, correct.
That makes a lot more sense. Like the Bulls were only down by like 1 point in that game that I was thinking of.
No, for
But
sure.
That makes a lot more sense. Yeah, that's a good pick.
He sat Jordan's ass on the bench. Like that was a power move at the time, and it lit that team up.
Pax's shot in that was just a 2.
Yeah.
Deuces.
Yep.
Deuces. I really like this one. It made me earlier. I had our lunch break at work, of course. I was doing my job for those listening.
Yeah,
and I went through some Chicago lore here. So I have a couple other written down. I'm not going to take the Bears Packers wild card, even though we do this in 10 years. That's number 1, I think.
Maybe next year.
But I'm gonna respect the recency of it, and I'm gonna take another Bulls game. This was 2013 against the Brooklyn Nets in the playoffs. This is the Nate Robinson game. Okay, Bulls down 14 points in the 4th quarter. Nate was going absolutely insane. I loved this for 2 reasons. One, it was the company that I was with. It was at my first apartment downtown. We were in our 2nd floor little lounge room, the smoke room, if you will. And boy, was I high as hell. I was just, I was out of my body high watching this game. And for me, if I'm getting that high, there's a 70% chance I'm having psychosis and a panic attack. Luckily, I caught the 30% edge of that deal and was just having the time of my life. And Nate Robinson was just flying like I vividly remember it. I was like, is this guy on a fucking trampoline? Like he was just going insane, hitting insane shots. It was awesome. And it was right in that beautiful era of D Rose playoff basketball. Energy was high. That comeback was insane. And I just loved that game. Obviously not as consequential as a World Series or a Stanley Cup or a, Sweet 16 win, but
a regular season game in May.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like it's the moments that stick with you. And that one's just ingrained in my memory. And it was a blast.
Yeah. That was a great game. And honestly, when you were talking about it, another major comeback popped into my head. It wasn't Chicago though. It was we were in a very similar state watching that 4x100 Olympic medley with what's his face, the swimmer Phelps, Michael Phelps, and those guys, and they came back against that French dude.
Oh,
we were French.
Yo,
And we
that's
were just
all
like,
time.
and we were just like up at the State Street house in Milwaukee, just fresh out the lounge in that house, and peak sports moment right there.
Oh yeah, dude.
I
You know it's a good house
coming out
when
of
you got
that
a
room
room
and
that's the
being like, that
lounge.
wasn't real.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
Yeah, that really fucking fried my brain. I'll tell you.
ye old pen trick.
Yeah,
I totally forgot
smoking plastic.
Yeah.
The Bulls had 2 20-plus point comebacks already this year in November. It's just so unassuming of what they're doing this year that you can't really take it.
Drew, I saw that when I was kind of going through like best comebacks and all that in Chicago sports history, and I saw that about the Bulls. I was like, man, that kind of shows you how much the NBA's fallen in my and that's just not an overarching statement, but like I'm just not really interested in it, and I think it's because the Bulls suck.
Yeah.
But the NBA regular season's just like, I don't know, man. And it's not for me.
You never know who's going to play. Everyone's fucking hurt all the time or being held out for rest. And it's just like, it's just not a fun league to watch, man.
Yeah.
Playoffs are fine, but
playoffs are fine. Playoffs are fine. I'll watch the playoffs.
Yeah.
NBA Cup wasn't bad, but
I feel like fucking get off my lawn guy. Like I don't understand it. I won't fucking watch it.
Yeah.
Not my,
You know what
not
I mean?
my NBA.
I don't understand it. Don't explain it to me. I don't care.
Yeah.
All right, that's gonna do it. We'll go quickly through some closing thoughts if you guys have any. If you don't, okay, too. But Nick, really quickly to you for closing thoughts of the show or this week. Anything you got?
Gonna keep it kind of brief, but just I talked about this a little at the top of the show, but just very thankful that the stars kind of aligned with the Bears having a good season this year. Ben Johnson being their coach, Caleb Williams being, maybe taking that next step to being like, not only the guy, but like maybe a superstar in the NFL. And the same year that my oldest son is like really into football for the first time. It's just a really cool moment. He gets really excited for Bears games, and it's just something that as recently as like last year would not have been the case. Not because the Bears were bad, but just because he just wasn't really into sports yet. But now he's 7, almost 8, and he's just like kind of really hitting that almost like, he talks about football all the time. It's all he talks about, and the Bears are good, and it's awesome. So just thankful that is happening and that I get to share that with him. So that's it for me.
That's fantastic.
It's an amazing feeling.
It's the
All
best.
right, Nick. All right, I'm sorry, Nick. All right, Jay. You got close for it.
What I'll say is, as Bears fans, I feel at this point we're playing with house money. We went to Vegas on the bachelor party. We sat down for a shoe and we won every hand. And now we can take that money off the table and just see what happens. Right. Everything after this point is icing. It's a cherry on top, in my opinion. And that's not to say that I don't want the Bears to do all that they can to win the damn Super Bowl this year, but I'm already at the peak, and we can go higher, sure. But like, if the season ended tomorrow, if the season ends on Sunday, I'm still going to be a happy Bears fan with the way that this season played out. We beat the damn Packers in the playoffs. It doesn't get better than that, unless a Super Bowl, sure, awesome. But you know what I mean? Isn't that a crazy thing for me to say though? Like, I'll take a Super Bowl. That would be really cool. I'm already in Nirvana, so you know what I mean?
I 100% know what you mean. Yeah, I agree with you 1,000%.
Yeah, there's no other words. There's no other things that I can put on top of that to close my thoughts. It's only what we're going forward to, and we're gonna keep tracking with you through these playoffs. Everyone on the Barely Qualified podcast. For Nick Lavris and Jason Maxwell, I am Drew Bailey. I thank you all for being here with us. We're going to keep bringing you shows bi-weekly as long as the Chicago Bears are in the playoffs. And as always, guys, we will catch you on the flip side. Bear down.
Thank you for listening to the Barely Qualified podcast. Like, comment, subscribe for more on a bi-weekly basis.